Welcome back to episode 255 of the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast.
Yo, this goes out to Louis, the ultimate fan. 154 teams, yeah, he's the man. From the NHL ice to the backyard rink, Louis' love for hockey is deeper than you think. Yo, Louis rolls up in that wild green, cheering for Minnesota, you know what I mean. Devils in Jersey, he's down with that crew. Bring your kids game and he'll cheer for them too. Wolverines, Gophers, Badgers in the mix. College Ice Kings, Louis fix. From the Leafs to the Habs, he's showing respect. 154 squads, what'd you expect? Louis reps them all, 154 deep. Hockey love strong, that's how he eats. From CHL stars to the world on display, Louis' vibe is hockey every single day. He's got love for the Knights, Flames, and Canucks. Sharks and Oilers, yeah, Louis in the cut. Trey Krona swag, Team USA grind. Slovakia and Finland, Louis' mind's wide. From the Pats to the Giants, Mooseheads too, QMJ Hale vibes. Louis always true, Swiss Ice Dreams, KJL Knights, no team too small for Louis' sights. Louis reps them all, 154 deep. Hockey love strong, that's how he eats. From CHL stars to the world on display, Louis' vibe is hockey every single day. On the streets or the rink, Louis got that flair. 154 teams, he don't even care. Bruins, Jets, Ducks, he shouts them loud. Louis' hockey passion got the whole game proud. Yo, Louis on a mission, his love don't stop. From Germany's Dell to Czech hockey spots, he's watching Liga games, Spartak Moscow's flow. Louis worldwide, that's how he rolls. Invite him to a game, he'll bring that hype. With his 154, he's the ultimate type. A fan like no other, he keeps it legit. Louis' love for the game, yo, it's infinite. Louis reps them all, 154 deep. Hockey love strong, that's how he eats. From CHL stars to the world on display, Louis' vibe is hockey every single day.
Louis.
Not too shabby.
Wow.
Yeah.
How about that?
You like a lot of teams, Louis. Never knew.
Yeah.
Watching
All over
the
the
Liga
globe.
games.
154 deep.
154 deep.
I'm all over it. Cover it like
What's
a
up, Papa
blanket.
Louis?
Hey,
You like
hey,
your
hey.
song?
Great. Good song.
The KHL references were the best. Late nights with KHL. I'm like, oh my god, that was good. Gold.
Golden.
What's new, boys? Hey, Phil.
How's it going? What's going on?
Going. We're on the mend to recovery, I think, here.
Yeah.
Are we?
Not 100%, but we're
Cool.
getting better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big show today, guys.
I went to the gym today.
Yeah, tell us about that. What happened?
I exerted 60% of energy. I just wanted to break a little sweat, and I other than dying, it was a good call. So I'm gonna try to go again tomorrow. Yeah.
How long did your workout last?
About 45, 50 minutes. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. No, I never go more than an hour. Never.
Okay.
Never. Yeah. Make
Oh,
sure
well, that's
make
good.
sure I get to go there. Right. I still get anxiety in the truck. I just have to muster up the energy and walk in. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's weird how that happens.
You know what I found out about working out and being sick for myself?
Mm.
Sometimes it actually makes you feel better.
Yeah.
And then other times you're in there for about 30 seconds and you're like, this isn't happening. And you might as well just walk right out.
Totally agree. My little rule is if I'm feeling sick, head up, so like a stuffy cold, and it's not too bad, I go to the gym or work out at home or whatnot. If it's neck down, like a lung cough or something chestular, you probably should not be exerting yourself. Yeah, I'm not a doctor, but it's worked for me. So
You're not a doctor? Boy, you use words like chestular, and it would shocking that you're not.
Only
I
on
know.
TV.
Well, I used to hobby in gynecology, but unfortunately, I'm too busy these days, so I can't anymore. Just hockey cards and work and stuff. So
Wow.
I have a really great
Don't even
joke
know
to
it.
follow that up with, but I can't say it.
okay.
I'm
We
gonna
got
say
a
it
big
like an
show for
hour
you.
from now. I'm gonna say it like for an hour from now to let people, just so that there's no context whatsoever between the two. But okay,
Mhm.
we got a lot to get into, so we're gonna get started. A reminder though, before we do, is that this show, our show, The Chestacular Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast is a Patreon podcast, which means we rely on the support of listeners and watchers like yourself to help us cover show expenses, produce what we hope to be more and better hockey card content, and then fund initiatives, even in a small way, to grow the hobby. You can support us for as little as $5 a month. Cup of coffee, as they say. Even Starbucks, probably more than that. By joining our $2.99 support level tier on Patreon. Link is at our website, hockeycardsgongshow.com. There's a become a patron link at the top of the page. You can go to the Patreon website directly, patreon.com, and search for Hockey Cards Gongshow. There's a link in the show description and the podcast apps and on YouTube and our Instagram, TikTok profile as well. Louis.
Sir. Big day.
154 deep, buddy. Let's do the game plan.
Let's do it. First off, we're going to start with Get to Know Your Hall of Famers. Then it's off to a mid-season hobby report. Then we'd jump into some hobby news. After that, it's an interview with Darren Rovell from CLLCT. We say collect.
Yeah.
Then it's new product releases. Then we have our Fanatics weekly preview. And Josh's personal pickups.
Just me?
Yeah.
Oh.
I got to save mine now because of Friday nights with Phil.
Oh, yeah.
So unless I buy one and it's not in a package,
Well, I got one. I do have one, but realized that I yet again bought one that I already had. I thought I thought I bid on a red and I got a green, and I'm like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. So we'll just leave it out.
You got a trader.
Okay. Yeah, you got a trader. There you go. Well, we're going to start off with our Get to Know Your Hall of Famers series, where we're looking at the lifetimes, hockey career, and hobby market of every single Hockey Hall of Famer, starting with the inaugural Hall of Fame class in 1945. I'm very excited about this one. This guy is nuts. If I didn't know, I knew the name, but didn't know a lot about him. So we're at our 22nd Hall of Famer profile already today. We're working through the 1950 Hall of Fame class. Guy we're going to be learning more about is Newsy Lalonde.
Didn't we already do it?
No.
Oh, I thought we did. Yeah, I know Newsy Lalonde for sure. He's the first Rocky Richard, kind of.
Yeah. Well, we talked about the name Lalonde's been in the news because he was the same last name. I'm not sure if related of the Red Wings coach that was just fired.
No, I don't think that's what it is. Oh, I don't know. It could be, maybe. I don't think so. I thought we already did Newsy Lalonde, but no, I'm excited to do that. Great.
All right, well, we're going to do a quick bio, state the case as to why you should care about Newsy, and then take a look at his hobby market. So Edward Cyril Newsy Lalonde lived from 1887 until 1970, good 83 years old when he passed away. He was born in Cornwall, Ontario, Canada.
Huh.
As a minor, he worked for the Cornwall Freeholder and the Woodstock Express newspapers in Ontario. That's where he got the name Newsy from, working for newspapers. Makes sense. He had a long 23-year career in hockey that lasted from 1904 until 1927. During his career, Lalonde played for such teams as the Montreal Canadiens. Ever heard of them, Phil? Canadiens?
Yeah. Most storied franchise in all of sports history. I've heard of them.
One might think. The Renfrew Creamery Kings, Louis. One of Louis' 154 list there. Bye, boys, the Vancouver Millionaires. Make money, 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 make money, money. The Saskatoon Sheiks. Not sure that name would go over well today. And the New York Americans. So there we go. Now, in addition to being a professional hockey player, Lalonde was also a professional lacrosse player. And he was so good at the sport that he was named Canada's best lacrosse player for the first half of the century in the 1900s. Wow. And is also in the Canadian Lacrosse Hall of Fame.
That's amazing. That's our national sport.
Yeah. Well, that's weird that hockey is not your national sport.
It is. It's peculiar. It's peculiar.
Getting back to hockey, though, from 1904 until 1909, he played in amateur leagues and a couple of early, maybe smaller professional, like junior leagues too, and capped off that part of his career with a Stanley Cup championship in 1909 with the Montreal Wanderers. Following the Stanley Cup, he signed for the 1909-1910 season with the Montreal Canadiens in the NHA, which was the team's inaugural season in existence. And Lalonde would go on to score the first goal for the Canadiens in the NHL, and I presume in their history. That's
Did
something,
not.
huh?
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's awesome. That's probably a big stat I should know of the Habs. Yeah.
Now, halfway through that season, he was traded to the Renfrew Creamery Kings. Of course, Louis' boys,
Mhm.
one of the greatest hockey team names ever. And to maybe, I don't know, stick it to the Canadiens, he scored only 22 goals in the next 5 games.
It's not even real.
Yeah.
That's Vladimir Putin stats.
He'd cap
Oh.
off the Canadiens' NHA run by leading the team to the Stanley Cup title, his second in 1916. Newsy also played for the Canadiens during their inaugural NHL season in 1917. He played and scored a goal in their first game as well. In fact, he'd score a goal in each of the Canadiens' first 6 NHL games. And to say Newsy Lalonde was a prolific goal scorer is an understatement. So look at his NHA and NHL totals. In 108 NHA games, he scored 164 goals. And in 99 NHL games played, he scored 124 goals.
Get her done.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good. Now, why should you care about him? Lalonde was one of the most prolific scorers of his time, regularly leading leagues in goals and points during an era when offense was harder to achieve. He scored 124 goals again in 99 NHL games and 194 goals. Well, I'm going to start that again because there's a second stat that's, I think, fascinating for Canadiens fans. So he scored 124 goals in 99 NHL games and 194 goals in 98 total games with the Montreal Canadiens across the 2 leagues.
Wow.
As the team's captain and star player, Lalonde became the Canadiens' first great player, setting the foundation for the franchise's success.
Mhm.
Lalonde was one of the game's biggest names when the NHL formed in 1917, helping draw attention to the new league. And known for his aggressive physical style and keen offensive instincts, Lalonde helped develop hockey into a faster paced and more strategic game.
Is keen offensive instincts the old term for
Oh, yeah,
what?
hockey. Yeah. Yeah. For sure. That's the 1910 term for hockey IQ. You're 100% right. Now, we do have hockey cards for Newsy Lalonde, which is cool. So his rookie is in the very first hockey set, the 1910 C56 set. He's pictured in a Renfrew Creamery King sweater.
Of course.
Now, a PSA 4 copy is the card's all-time high public seller. It's over $7,200 US this past April. Newsy also has a card in the 1911 C55 set, card number 42. This PSA 7 copy is the highest seller, fetching $4,320 US in February 2023. And then in the third run of the C57 set in 1912, there's a Newsy Lalonde card as well.
Oh, I like
Ooh.
that.
You like that?
Yeah, I like that card. Yeah. That's
All right.
good.
PSA 3 copy is pictured, but a PSA 6 did sell for as much as $3,050 US in November of 2020. Then there are a couple later playing days cards for Lalonde, like this 1924 V130 Maple Crispet PSA 6.5 that sold for $650 US dollars in May of 2017. And then finally, a 1925 Dominion Chocolate PSA 4 that sold for $1,315 US in April of 2010.
Big
Okay, brother.
numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's your Hall of Famer, Newsy Lalonde.
Wasn't he I could be wrong. Wasn't he a coach too? He coached for many,
Yeah.
many years. Yeah. Eh? Because I
Yeah,
think
I think in the 1916 Stanley Cup, he was captain, player, and coach.
Oh, okay. I thought later. I feel like he's a little infamous. I thought he was a bit of a hard-nosed man. I'm pretty sure it's Newsy Lalonde I'm thinking about. Like he punched out his coach or something, or I don't know. I could have the wrong guy, but I don't think so.
Oh, really?
Yeah. No, I'm pretty sure Newsy Lalonde is very hard-nosed, and he had a reputation for being
No bull.
no BS. I'm sure make a comment or I don't know, Google it and figure it out. I don't know.
Add some more comments on YouTube or message us on Instagram or Discord.
I love
Leave
these
them, that'd be
segments,
great.
Josh. They're fantastic. I'm very happy we're doing them. Well, you're doing them.
We got one
you get
more
to know
now?
what?
We got one more in this group?
No.
Oh,
We
I
got
thought you only had
probably
one more.
4 or 5
Oh,
more.
okay.
I feel like the quick one hitter segments, like 8 to 10 minutes, and it's staying in here a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it helps learn the history of the game, and I think appreciate when you see vintage hockey cards more.
Heck yeah,
So,
man. This makes me want to get my set much more. Oh, I'm not freezing as much, eh? I think I fixed
yeah, I think your picture looks clear too.
Really? Do I look more handsome?
Meh.
You bunch of jerks. Okay, next
We'll let
segment.
the voters decide.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever.
We're gonna move on and to our mid-season hobby report. It's a mid-season, number 1. Can you believe that? It's crazy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I feel like it's been.
Snap your fingers, the season's gonna be over. So I thought it'd be fun to look at, see how everyone's doing and how on-ice performance is translating to hobby success or lack thereof. So
Yeah.
Phil,
Yeah.
you look scared. You okay?
Well, I don't know. I feel like there's new surprises every podcast. I'm just on my toes here.
You know,
Oh my God.
it'll be
No,
okay, buddy.
I'm excited to do this. I feel like I've been watching good hockey
Yeah.
this year. So
It's okay, Phil. It's full of senators.
oh yeah, I'm sure it is.
Not a one, actually.
Not a
So-
one. Thanks.
I was thinking the best way to do this, and I decided to break it up into actually 4 categories for us to look at and comment on. So I have like the league leaders in both points and goals, kind of the blue chip hobby bros, as Phil likes to call them.
Yeah.
Then we'll look at the current rookie crop and last year's rookies,
Oh,
and
fun.
kind of
Okay.
quickly go through that and see who's doing what so far in
Mhm.
2024-25. So, Phil,
Yeah.
in looking at points, how
Okay.
many of the top 10 point producers? Because you said your fingers on the pulse. You're
Yeah.
a man of the people. You're a man of the hobby.
Oh, here it comes.
How many of
What
the
is
top
this?
10 point producers, current point producers, can you name?
Probably all of them. Wouldn't I?
Okay,
If you go
cocky
10
man.
for 10,
Let's go.
Okay,
Okay,
we'll
well,
get
okay,
it.
maybe for sure 7. Are we doing defensemen or forwards? Son of a.
in your world, I think that's interchangeable. Typically.
Yeah, no, clearly. Okay.
Just go quick. Who are the top 10 point producers? And Louis, can you write these down so we'll see?
I'm
how
working
many-
on. Yeah. I'm
Okay,
right
so
here.
we got your usual suspects, right?
don't know.
Rantanen, Draisaitl, McKinnon, McDavid, Makar, defenseman. I know Werenski's on there. I saw it unless he fell off a few days ago, but yes, I know Werenski's on there. Jack
Has he named
Eichel,
6 so far?
Jack Eichel,
7.
Kaprizov,
8.
I'm one short because I missed what he said. Yes.
definitely
yes.
Jack Hughes. Wait, I might take that back. No, I'm not taking that back. Jack Hughes. Am I missing a defenseman? No, I don't think so. I think those two.
How many
boys.
do you have written down, Louis?
I got 1, 2, 3. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
So why don't you name it back to Phil really quick, and then he'll fill in the last 2. Pardon the pun.
McKinnon, Draisaitl, Rantanen, Kucherov, McDavid, Eichel, Kaprizov, Makar is what you've said.
Did I say Jack Eichel?
Yes, you did.
Okay. I feel like so I'm just going through the teams. Winnipeg. Did I pick anyone from Winnipeg? Oh,
Mhm. Mhm.
either Scheifele or Kyle Connor. I pick Scheifele. Yeah, I pick Scheifele.
No, you got one more.
Is he part of the 10?
I'm not. No, we.
Oh,
we
okay.
all, how many
Yeah,
of the
these
10
are
you
my
got right at
picks.
the end?
Okay. I'm struggling. I'm gonna go. Nietzsche's. Martin Nietzsche's.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now Louis is going to reveal the top 10
Okay.
point producers, and I
Okay.
think you got like 7 right.
Oh, well, I'm happy with 70%. Yeah.
Yes.
All
You
right.
got a C.
Yeah, C's get degrees, buddy.
It's my high school
Right.
average. It's fine.
Okay, number 1, McKinnon.
Wait. We got to share the screen, Louis.
Oh, yeah, I'll do it. That'd make life a lot easier for me, wouldn't it? There you go, Philly. McKinnon, Draisaitl, Rantanen,
Mitch
Mitch
Marner.
Marner, Kucherov, McDavid, Kyle Connor,
Yeah.
Eichel, Kaprizov, Makar.
You forgot Kucherov. And did you pick Scheifele or?
Yeah, I picked
Yeah.
Scheifele. Yeah.
Those
And
are the
then
3 you
he's-
got wrong.
What'd you say, Hughes and Ruinski or something?
No, he said
Jack Hughes.
Shifley, Hughes, and maybe Wierenski. Yeah.
Okay.
There's no Wierenski. Okay. Well,
No
that
Kyle
was
Wierenski? That's it. I'm starting a PC.
it's Zach Wierenski, but
Sorry.
I don't know. Kyle might be his uncle. I'm not sure.
I don't know. Just
Okay. So looking at the top 10 point scores, we have McKinnon leading the way with 66 points, only 14 goals, but 52 assists, which is crazy in 41 games played. Followed by Draisaitl, who has 29 goals, 30 assists, 59 points, and 39 games played, is number 2. Then Mikko Rantanen third, 24 goals, 58 points. Phil's homie, his Chacho, Mitchie Marner, is 4th in the NHL in points with 56 at the midpoint. So maybe these trade Mitch Marner rumors might be your desires from the Maple Leafs fans might be going away, possibly at this point. 5th is Kucherov. He has only 17 goals, but 55 points. You have McDavid, number 6. Seems a little low for Connie McDavid. Only 15 goals, but 54 points. Kyle Connor 7th, 52 points for the Jets. Jack Eichel 8th with 52 points as well, but 11 goals compared to Connor's 22. Our boy Louis, Kirill the Thrill, coming at 9th and slipping as he's missed a whole bunch of games now due to injury. He has 23 goals, 27 assists for 50 points in 34 games. And then lastly, but not leastly, we have our 3rd Avalanche player in the top 10, guys.
And only D.
Avs.
Only D.
The only D. Baby Bobby Orr, Cale Makar, has 13 goals, 49 points in 41 games played. So that's the top 10 point producers. Now we'll look quickly at the top 10 goal scorers at the midpoint. So Draisaitl currently leads the NHL in goals with 29 and is pacing for 58 goals on the season. Mikko Rantanen is number 2 at 24. So Leon's got 5 more goals than the nearest player, too. Braden Point from one of Louis' 154 favorite teams of the Tampa Bay Lightning is tied with Kaprizov, Mark Scheifele, and Willie Nylander with 23 goals that'd be at spot 3. So 4 players that have 23 goals.
look at Caulfield go away.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Cole Caulfield, Sam Reinhart, and Kyle Connor all have 22 goals. And then at number 10 is Jake Gensel, who the Penguins obviously didn't need, who's currently 10th in the NHL.
I'm glad they got rid of him. Pittsburgh scares me. Playoff fringe team.
So I wanted to do that so that we could highlight 3 players from both of these league leader lists that I think are interesting. And the first one I talk about is Draisaitl, I guess, again. He's 2nd in points and 1st in goals. But somehow still McDavid's super sidekick and, not enough hobby love. I said again because it's, to me, guys, it's a little bit of an old story at this point. And I've talked about Draisaitl in this context before, but if you look at the last 5 years, he has the 2nd most points in the NHL behind McDavid and the 2nd most goals in the NHL behind Austin Matthews. So AM34 has 222 goals and then Leon has 208.
As long as Draisaitl and McDavid are together, this is not going to change for a long time.
So it's kind of like a Gretzky Messier thing, or would it be like a Gretzky Curry thing, or neither of them?
Maybe. I'm going to say though that I understand what you guys are saying, and I'm not saying that you're wrong. I just similarly, I just flat out reject it. I do. It's like, and here, well, I guess here's my very short case, right?
Okay.
So he's working on his 4th straight 100-point season. And if it wasn't for the COVID bubble shortened year, it would be his 6th straight 100-point season. If he gets to his 58 goal projection for 24-25, it would be 3 of the 4 past seasons with 50 or more goals.
Yeah, so he's better than McDavid?
I'm not saying he's better than McDavid, but I think that this narrative that he's only good because of McDavid is
okay.
poppycock.
I see what you're saying. Is what? Pop poopy?
Poppycock.
This again?
Okay.
You know what? I'm not going that way. I'm going. I think he's why McDavid's as good
Got-
as he is.
Got the room to spread his legs.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? They need each other. How about
They
that?
do. McDavid can create on his own really well. He does good, but
Well, Draisaitl's huge. He's got like a man's body.
either
Big
way,
boy.
they're awesome together.
Yeah.
You do have the McDavid factor, and then maybe his sort of salty personality that could affect his hobby market. He's not real warm, right? Kind of crabby
In the
a
German.
little bit.
Yeah, he doesn't. He doesn't have the swagger, but he doesn't care to. So just leave him be, I guess. But
Yeah, like a smile might
Yeah.
might help.
show some teeth, Germany. Come on.
So if you look at McDavid's card letter player index over the past 6 months, it's down about 8%. And his 2014 Young Guns PSA 10 with a pop 1021 and a 58% gem rate that last sold for $556 US on January 5th. It's flat over the past 6 months. And yeah, so it kind of feels like he's like in hobby star purgatory. Maybe he's got like a bigger hobby market, of course, than like a Mikko Rantanen, but he's definitely not on the Austin Matthews, McDavid, or even Jack Hughes level from a hobby point of view. You know, will it ever happen? Or is what it is? It's probably, unfortunately, is what it is.
Is what it is.
What if they win a cup? What if they win a cup and Draisaitl is a major influence? Like of course he's going to be a big piece of the puzzle, but I mean a little step up. You know, like part of a highlight reel goal, Stanley Cup winning, and maybe McDavid's not even a part of it. Maybe that would separate.
Maybe.
You know,
I'd like to see it.
I would
And
love to see it. Yeah.
We could have the same conversation about Kucherov. The only difference is Draisaitl scores more goals, and so I think is even more stark how little hobby love he has because of that. Okay, the next standout when looking at the league leaders that I want to talk about is Cole Caulfield. So we've talked a lot about him before. Last season was a dud for his hobby market as he came back from the knee injury with, of course, a lot of hype and excitement, but only finished with 28 goals, 65 points, which is decent. I mean, he's a young guy. I struggle to say only, but if you're going to be a top hobby star, you got to produce more than that. I mean, that's a good hockey player stat.
Mhm.
It's not a star hobby player stat, I guess is the way I would put it. So it's nice to see him back in the top 10 goals midway through the season, currently sitting at 22 goals in 40 games, putting him on a pace to finally eclipse that 40 goal mark, which would be for the first time. He still hasn't even gotten 30 goals yet in a season, but
He will.
yeah,
We'll get it.
he's really good. Now
Dynamic.
has his
Very
hot start affected his hobby market? Well, his 2021 Young Guns PSA 10 popped 3,602 with a 33% gem rate, less over 120 US on January 6th. It's down about 2% in the past 6 months. And I looked at some stats, I'm going to introduce another kind of statistical perspective for some of these players that we're going to use. So if you look at December last month, there were 7 Caulfield sales for more than $500 US. The year prior, in December 2023, there were 33 sales of $500 or more for Cole Caulfield. So his market is definitely cooled. It's just a matter of, will he heat back up? Could he be another kind of breakthrough hobby performance this year? And that's kind of the one thing that I think we've been missing is sort of a subtext to all of this is, if I go back over the last 3 seasons, by this point we've had, whether it be Jason Robertson or Tage Thompson or Jack Hughes, some player that's gone completely bananas from a hobby perspective based on their on ice performance. And I couldn't think of one this year so far. Can you guys?
Lane Hudson might be getting in his way.
Yeah, maybe, but he's a rookie too, so you have to. It's usually the breakout guys are not the rookies, because rookies come in with hype and chase
market share. He's taking the market share of the cards.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Quebecers, let us know. Yeah.
But you would think if Caulfield keeps producing, how young he's, the youngest player in the top 10 of either points or goals, and the market he's in, that there should be a lot of hobby momentum moving forward.
I would agree.
The last player I want to highlight from our top 10 list is a baby Bobby Cale Makar. So again, he's got 13 goals, only not 30. Sorry, Cole. Phil, and 36 assists for 49 points in 41 games played. That's an 82 game pace of 26 goals and 98 points. Now, his career high for points was last season when he had 90. So he's currently pacing ahead of that. And his career high for goals was 28 in 2021-22. So he's a little bit behind that mark. Now, if he finishes the season strong, we could be looking at new career highs for the 26-year-old too, because that's, again, possible with goals as well. And when we look at, or we did already look at, and I referenced the last 5 years in looking at NHL scoring, when we talked about Draisaitl, if we isolate the last 5 years of both points and goals to just defensemen, Makar's number 1 in points with
Wow.
335.
That's a big stat.
And number 1 in goals with 87.
Maybe
I
that
think
young gun is worth that $400 it was.
Yeah. So at the minimum, I think he's solidifying his stake as the D-man in the hobby, and could even elevate maybe his place in the hobby a little bit more with a really strong finish to the year. So Makar is a 2019 Young Guns PSA 10 pop 2,862, 63% gem rate. Sold for $480 on January 5th. It's down about 1% in the past 6 months. 27 Makar cards sold last month for more than $500 compares to 28 sales in December 2023. So pretty much the same. And the more time that goes on now, the more I'm ready. It just feels like to me that Makar is just going to be an all-timer. He's going to be at the defensive position, like an Ovechkin, like a Crosby, like he's already got a Cup. He's already got a Norris.
Scott Niedermayer.
Yeah. I think he's better than Scott Niedermayer, don't you?
So far.
Yeah. There we go.
Okay, I got a question
right.
for you. Hey,
Yeah.
while we were going through all this, I was crunching some numbers, and I know you guys, well, I think you are big pop count guys and how it reflects with pricing.
Yeah.
Do you think, so Draisaitl, lowest pop, highest price, 1,021 and cost 556.
Yep.
And then you got Makar, 2,862 for 480 US, and then Caulfield has the most at 3,600 cards, PSA 10s, only 120. For somebody new into this hobby, is that typical? Is this just how this laid out or not? Do you think Draisaitl would be less if there was 3,000 copies of his PSA 10?
I think that's certainly a factor. You look at both him and Pasternak from 2014, and that the Upper Deck print runs were noticeably lower, and so their cards are a lot more rare than you. And then the Upper Deck really ramped it up the next year with Connor McDavid. Now, I think when you talk about Cole Caulfield, Louis, there's a couple interesting things with his young guns that go into play. Number one, in my mind, he's not nowhere near as solidified as a certifiable star Hall of Fame type player like
the other two.
Draisaitl and Makar. The one thing though, that even though it's got a pop count of like 3,600, that the Caulfield Young Guns PSA 10 has going for it is a very low gem rate. I believe it's like in the low 30s. So, Phil, you're on mute.
It's a bad print year. It's the year before they went to Italy.
Yeah. So over the long haul, that would be the one plus for that card, where you look at like what really hurts the Kaprizov Young Guns. It's got a very high gem rate and high pop count.
Who is Makar's D-man Taves all the time?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure, because that is a big, as someone who loves his Jake Sanderson, he's struggling this year, and I feel like it's his partner a lot. I mean, I'm not trying to lay blame, but I think if you have a good stay-at-home partner and you guys marry up well and you can read off each other, that person is just as important, not just as important, but it's part of the mix. You got to nurture that and maintain that, right? Because a D-man's partner is everything as well.
No, that's a great point.
Very correct.
I want to move on to our next category for a mid-season report and talk about a few of the blue chip hobby guys. So these are current players like Crosby, Ovechkin, McDavid, Matthews, Makar, Jack Hughes, maybe Nathan McKinnon, right? Would be like the top tier of hobby guys, the players with the most chase. And we talked about Makar already, and I want to highlight a couple of the others. And the first one I want to start off with is Phil's boy, AM34. So far this season, he's appeared in only 26 games of the Leafs 41, obviously battling injuries. He does have 12 goals, 16 assists for 28 points. That gives him a season pace of 24 goals and 56 points. That's not good for Austin Matthews. And he's producing, of course, while he's on the ice. But you know what they say, the best ability is availability. And that's
I
been
like that.
the struggle right now with Matthews. And even though he's returned from his latest injury absence, I've seen a lot of reports out there that he's still not 100. Even Craig Berube came out and said he's not 100% healthy. So who knows how much that's going to linger for the rest of the season. And so it's turning into a little bit of a dud season for Austin Matthews. Remember, he had 69 goals last year.
Yeah.
68, 69, something like that. And, you know, injuries do happen, but you just hope that, again, it's not a lingering issue for him for the remainder of the season. So has his lack of production and lack of availability affected his hobby market? Well, he's a 2016 Young Guns PSA 10 pop 3,923, 63% or 67, sorry, percent gem rate. That's sold for $758 US in January 6th, down about 19% in the past 6 months. Last month, 53 Austin Matthews cards sold for more than $500 US on the secondary markets. Looking at card letter sales history, the year prior, in December 2023, there was 97 Austin Matthews sales of $500 or more. So I don't know. I mean, maybe one way to look at it, if he's battling injuries, is to say, and you're a Austin Matthews guy or gal, maybe it's a good time to buy because his prices are going to be down a little bit.
Yeah. Contact a friend of the show, Sylvain, because he goes through them a lot. These things are like hotcakes.
Yeah, it's like flush.
BGS Matthews 9.5s. It's its own thing. Yeah. He stole your captain's hat, Josh. Austin. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want me to get it back for you?
Sure.
I want that hat back, and I want my 4 goals back on your NHL debut, you meanie.
Yeah.
They lost. My Sens still beat them. Just want to.
Oh, that was against the Senators. I never knew that.
Yeah, I know. Why do you? That's my villain origin story.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Yeah. 4 goals,
sense.
guys. He scored 4 goals against my team on his first NHL game.
All right. The next blue chip player I think we should look at is Jack Hughes. Now, we haven't heard much. I feel like we haven't talked about him much this year, really, in general, for the hobby star that he is. In 43 games played, he's produced 15 goals, added 33 assists for 48 points. So his 82 game pace right now is like to land in the 28 to 29 goal range and 92 points. And I think what we're all sort of wanting and waiting for on the hobby side of is another 40 plus goal season like he had in 2022-23 when he scored 43 goals. I'm just not sure if it's an outlier at that 43 goal season, or will it be more indicative of the trend for Hughes going forward? Because if you look at his 4 other seasons, his goal total was 7, 11, 26, and 27. So it's hard to say that he's going to be a consistent 40 goal guy when he's basically only done it once. Now, his 92 point pace is good. In that big 2022-23 season, he had 99 points. And his second best point production other than that was 74 in 62 games played, I believe the year later. So I think for Hughes' hobby buzz and momentum, it boils down to probably staying healthy and scoring a few more goals to kind of get that train rolling again. He's a 2019 Young Guns PSA 10 pop 5,662. Another guy like 70% gem rate, 74% gem rate. Last sold for $186 US.
Pretty cheap, eh?
Yeah, on January 6th.
I'm glad you're bringing this up. I'm going to pick some up for my top loader Young Gun binder.
Yeah, boy.
It's down about 10% in the past 6 months. Super high pop, of course, and that's going to affect his prices. Now, looking at those December sales over 500 US, there were 19 sales of Jack Hughes cards last month compares to 34 in December of 2023.
Wow.
So again, another guy that's slowing down a little bit.
I wouldn't say slowing down. Here's the problem. Here's the biggest problem for Hughes to overcome in order to get that at least 40 goals. And this isn't going to happen, but he needs to get off the line with Jesper Bratt because there's not enough goals for the two of them. They're both neck and neck with points.
Yeah.
And those two together are such a machine out there on that second line that unfortunately, what's one of the two of them going to get something in the back of the net there? And I think that's what'll hold them back. But people need to look past that number, honestly, for the way
But they
the guy
won't,
plays.
though. I totally get what you're saying, Louis. The one thing though is like if Jack Hughes is like going to be an all-time great player, I don't know if he is. Like Wayne Gretzky, that never slowed him down. And I know I'm not. It's ridiculous to make a Wayne Gretzky argument against anyone, but you would think though that Hughes could separate himself from Jesper Bratt if he's going to be an all-time great player. Nobody's arguing he's a good player. Nobody's arguing he's a really good player, but is he in that Matthews, McDavid, Ovechkin, Crosby realm?
No, we can't say that yet. No.
Yeah. Will he ever be? We don't know.
We're talking Makar. Makar is nibbling at their toes already,
Yes.
kind of like sitting there at the end of the bench a little bit. And I don't even want to say anything further about that. Jack Hughes, no. And I don't think Sheldon Keefe is going to want to split up Jesper Bratt and Jack Hughes. So his hobby market.
Yeah, probably not.
No, but I guess then the other positive thing going forward for these boys is this team's got something now, and I think they're going to be on a roll for a few years. So I see big things. So
I feel like the Devils have always been one of the better teams my whole life. Like Lou Lamoriello, like he laid a foundation, Mr. Forehead there. Holy moly. Devils have been great. I mean, they've been solid every year they bring it, I find.
Okay.
The last blue chipper that was interesting to me we got to talk about is Phil's boy Ovi. The key question I wanted to know is, now that it's evident that he's going to break Gretzky's goals record, right, Phil?
Yeah. So it's no, stop that. You're guaranteeing the record being broken this year, Josh?
No, not this year.
Oh, I thought you said with a level of certainty.
Yeah, well, that he's going to break it. I didn't say this year. You added this year.
Well, I'm trying to put words in your mouth. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
So is that moving his hobby market at all?
Yeah.
And is Ovi getting more spendy?
Lots of fun, Joshy Poo?
On the season, Ovi has 19 goals, 30 points in 24 games played. Not bad for a 39-year-old, of course. Now, Washington, Phil, has 42 games left, and Ovi needs 23 goals to get to 895 and to own the record. If he keeps his current pace, he should score an additional 33 goals.
Okay.
He needs 23, Phil.
Okay. Well, then it should be with a level of certainty, Mr. Madigan.
but that's not the question, though. What I want to know is, has his hot start, even despite his broken leg, pumped up his hobby market at all? So he's a 2005 Young Guns, PSA 10, popped 1295, 34% gem rate. That's sold for $5,850 US in January 5th. That's up 80% in the past 6 months.
Oh, come on.
Mm-hmm. It's this price, 5,850, is its current 52-week high. So it's the highest sale in the past year of this card. Not the all-time high. All-time high is like some sort of like pandemic ridiculous, almost like $9,000.
Yeah.
Oh, for a base card, crazy.
Yeah, something like that. Now, last month, there were 129 OV cards that sold for more than 500 US per card letter sales history. The year before, 148. So even that's down a little bit in the past year. If he keeps pumping the goals, I guess he's the guy where I see the market just going crazy.
Yeah.
If the goals keep going in, I think it's a powder keg right now, ready to go.
Sell your cards, buy them back later.
Yeah.
Right.
Not financial advice. So don't listen to me. I have no idea.
But it's crazy. Okay. So now we're going to move on to category 3.
Wait. Hold on. You know what the
Oh.
problem with this is? You
What?
can't find a raw card of Crosby or Ovechkin anymore. And it's frustrating. You can't, I mean, sure, go on eBay and I mean, I'll talk about it later, but you know, I need to find a good SGC 9, not pay
That would be a good
$6,000.
expo goal, because if you're going to
Mhm.
find them, it'll be at the expo, right?
Yeah, for sure.
You're in Quebec City. Won't you find them there?
Oh yeah, when I go to Quebec City, yeah, maybe
Yeah.
I'll hopefully score some there.
Saskatoon?
Possibly, but that's after the summer, so I want it
when
before
he already has the goals record, right, Phil?
Yeah, you're so funny.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Now let's talk about rookies.
Let's do it.
So we'll go back to the top 10 and look at the top 10 rookie point producers so far this season. So Jimmy Shakes, Lane Hudson leads the way with 30 points in how many games? 40 games played. So he has 3 goals and 27 assists, giving him a pace of probably 6 or 7 goals and 56 points for the year. Number 2 is Matt Michkov, who's played in 38 of the Flyers' 40 games so far, has 12 goals, 17 assists for 19 points, giving him a pace of somewhere near 24 goals, 25 goals, and 60 points. Then you have Macklin Celebrini, who's played in just 30 of the Sharks' 42 games, but has produced 28 points, almost point per game, while leading the rookie goal race with 13 goals currently. So if he can stay healthy, he could have a chance to get to 30 goals, which would be pretty impressive for an 18-year-old.
Very impressive.
Yep.
Very impressive.
And it
Foreshadowing.
falls up pretty sharp from there. I'll just go over like the more notable guys. You got Logan Stankoven, who is at number 5. He's got 4 goals, 18 points in 30 games played. Cutter Gauthier has 5 goals, 17 points in 39 games played for the Ducks. And then Will Smith, who is currently in 9th for points, has 8 goals and 6 assists for 14 points. So what I wanted to do is compare these guys' production to the most recent Calder winners. So I went back to the last 3 Calder Trophy winners. So Bedard finished last year with 22 goals and 61 points. So Celebrini should beat that. Hudson, well, not Hudson, but Celebrini and Michkov both have a chance to eclipse Bedard's production last year. The year prior, Matty Beniers had 24 goals and 33 assists for 57 points, pretty similar to Bedard. And then in 2021, Mo Seider won the award with 7 goals and 50 points. So he's more in line with our boy Shimmy Shakes right now.
Assist machine.
Mm-hmm. And I got to say, personally, like I've been looking into this a lot. I'm becoming very bullish on Celebrini.
I think I read.
I read a lot, and everything I'm hearing is the thing I keep coming across is people are just saying he's different. Like he's not your typical rookie. And even talking about him, I feel a little bit differently than people have talked about Bedard, even though all the good stuff he has going for him. And I'm not sure if I'm going to lose my Hockey Hobby podcaster's license here for saying this.
Go say it.
If I had to bet on Celebrini versus Bedard today, who's going to end up the better player? I might take Celebrini.
Ooh, really? Eh? I mean, I think this is an unfair conversation, but it's fun because
yeah, I mean, it's a limited conversation, right? Hindsight will always, or limited information conversation. Hindsight will always be 2020, but I just feel like that he's, aside from the other stuff, the little things, that he's excelled more defensively than Bedard has. And I don't know. What do you guys think? If you had to bet, who would you put your money on?
I'd probably have to lean. The tipping point for me is that he's over 6 feet tall. And he's at 18 years old. I still don't understand how a lot of these little guys, I mean, look at Cole Caulfield's proven me wrong nonstop. The kid's so dynamic and a beauty to watch. But I think size matters. And when you have size with that skill, I mean, 6 feet's not that big, but it's a lot bigger than 5'9", 5'10". I'd like to watch him play more. And I like saying the word Celebrini. It's nice to say it. So I think that probably helps the hobby too. I know that sounds silly, but I think it does matter. I really do.
All right, Louis, we got to stretch our memory here, but
Okay.
this was a few months ago now, and I know all the websites and scouting reports say 6 feet. I'm 6'1". Do you remember thinking him being 6 feet? I don't think he's 6 feet tall.
Who? Celebrini?
Celebrini.
What? I thought he's 6 feet tall.
Oh, that's what it says. But we were like 2 feet away from him, Phil.
Oh.
I don't remember him being like as small as Lane Hudson. Lane Hudson he looked like a middle school child at the rookie show.
Did he look younger than young Madigan?
Oh, my son is like 6'3".
Yeah, I don't know how you're only 6'1". You got to remeasure yourself. Maybe you're hunching or something.
I think
don't
you're
know.
taller than that, Josh.
You seem much taller than 6'1".
Oh, really?
Yeah, like when you tripped that one time at the restaurant, I was scared. I was like, oh, okay, he's.
But you caught me and held me for an awkwardly long amount of time.
I rocked you to sleep. I put you in the car seat and we drove home. Yeah, put you right to bed.
All right, Louis, if you have to bet today, you have to put $100 on who's the better player 5 years from now. You think Celebrini too?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'll pick Bedard then. I'll go against the grain. I pick Bedard.
Okay, contrarian.
Yeah.
All right, so that's kind of our little rookie recap. And last area I want to review quickly is sophomore seasons, right? Because I think that's a big part of the hobby is having rookie classes that not only pan out that year, but come back strong when we typically see a sophomore slump. So the 3 guys I want to look at are, we got to start with the obvious and Bedard. And we know he started really slow, but he has picked it up as of late.
Great picture.
It is a great picture.
Yeah.
Through 40 games played, he's up to now 10 goals and 35 points, excuse me. So that gives him an 82 game pace of about 21 goals and 71 to 72 points. Now, again, last year he had 22 goals and 61 points. So he was very much on the regression trend line before, and he's at least now at or maybe a little above point wise his last year's pace, which is a good thing. And I think, the best thing for the hobby would be to have for him to light it up the second half and get to 30 goals.
Yeah, I'd love that.
That would be very, very good.
He's a hat trick. He's a hat trick away from just being in every conversation again. He just is. He is. Yeah.
Now his 2023-24 Young Guns PSA 10 popped 6,449, 43% gem rate. Last sold for $540 US on January 7th, down 36% in the past 6 months. There's more PSA 9s than PSA 10s.
Do any of us have? Do any of us have any of our little Wu-Tang group here? I don't have a Connor Bedard Young Gun.
No,
I don't really care for one right now. Anyways, I'd rather get him.
It's not a card I'm interested in.
No, me neither. I'd rather get an established like a Crosby PSA 8. Little foreshadowing there.
The other 2 guys that were the big names for 23-24 sets that we haven't talked about much lately are number 1, Leo Carlsson. So in his rookie year, he had 12 goals and 29 points in 55 games played. Now this season, he's played in 34 games so far, has 8 goals, 7 assists for 15 points, which is not great. And time on ice is down from 18 minutes last year to about 16 minutes this year.
He spells his last name wrong too. Spells it with a C. Everybody knows it's with a K.
There you go. Yeah. So again, really big name, a lot of steam out of the gate on Leo Carlsson. And he's a 23-24 Young Guns PSA 10 pop 1,945 with a 50% gem rate, last sold on January 7th for $53 US. Down 41% in the past 6 months.
Yeah, that's a big drop.
The other guy that we heard of is sort of, you always have like the yin and yang when you have a huge rookie. We had Jack Eichel, right, with McDavid. Is Eichel better than McDavid? Sort of. And if you had any guy that you would make that comparison with Bedard, it was Adam Fantilli. Again, another big name out of the 23-24 hobby class. So he finished his rookie season 12 goals and 27 points in 49 games played. I can remember too, he only played 49 games. He had a really bad cut in his leg from, I forget whose skate blade that torpedoed the second half of his
Mhm.
season last year. Now, so far in 24-25, he has 9 goals, 10 assists for 19 points in 41 games played, giving him an 82 game pace of 18 goals and 38 points. Again, not fantastic. And a lot of the guys we're talking about are young, of course, and it doesn't mean that this is their lot in hockey, but these are not the numbers that create a lot of hobby buzz and get your card values to go up.
No, I was high on this kid.
Me too. I was too, Louis. Yeah, I've kind of lost track of him this year, but
Yeah.
after the injury,
But and even that, it's like if you really have to try hard to follow a player, that's usually not a good sign
Right.
yeah,
because they should be. And so now there's a lot of things you could look at to build the reasons into why. I mean, he's had 3 coaches already and less than probably a full season of games
Mhm.
or about a
I
full season of games.
I
And
still want to be positive though on the last few years of rookie crops, right? Like
yeah,
we need that injection, and I like how we do this. And all the more power to you, Leo Carlson and Adam Fantilli. Everyone plays better, we all win, right? It's a better product on the ice.
can I counter that though? Actually,
Yeah, sure.
when you go back and look at again the McDavids, all the top players, aside from the Jack Hughes argument, who is still a little iffy that we're talking about, and McKinnon is the other example. Most of them, like right away, you knew they were superstars, right? And so it doesn't mean, of course, any one of these guys could turn out to be like the proverbial light switch could go on, or things could just click for them, and they go from 18 goals to 60 in a year. But
Yeah.
if you're advising someone new into the hobby that says, "Oh, Adam Fantilli, should I buy a $4,000 rookie card?"
No.
I think that's a really big risk at this point. Not that any rookie card of a young player isn't a risk, but is there anything that tells you that? And you have to be like very critical, like from a hobby perspective. And it's right. It doesn't mean he won't be a good hockey player. It doesn't mean he won't be a top 6 scorer. He could be an all-star. Well, the hobby is like chock full of those guys we talk about that have no hobby values.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to be exceptional to have a big, like truly exceptional to have a big hobby market. And so when you're looking at Leo Carlson and Adam Fantilli, would you want to make a $2,000 bet on a rookie card at this point on either of those players? I probably wouldn't.
Yeah, but like we talked about the Sedin players not too long ago. It took them a little bit,
Sure.
I'm a big Chris Chelios guy. It took him. I mean, I'm cherry picking, but I was going to
But
say
there's
Chelios.
always the outlier situation in any sort of argument. You could say it's kind of like the famous basketball one is, well, you got to be 6'5" or 6'6" to generally excel in the NBA. And someone will always say, well, Spud Webb was
Yeah.
5. It's like,
Tell Spud Webb that.
sure,
You know what?
one in a trillion athletes can beat those odds or that norm.
Yeah.
But it doesn't change the facts. It doesn't change the stats, right? And so, yeah.
I always one of the ones I hear, and I always have to counter myself. They're like Dominic Hasek wasn't good till he was like almost 30 and he was a backup goalie. And then I'm like, he didn't come here until his mid 20s.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I mean, I don't know the full story, but he didn't come, he wasn't drafted, didn't come here like that. He might have been drafted, I don't know, but older age. But late bloomers, I'm always kind of hopeful, right? Like
So other than well, let's go back to that though. Other than Bedard,
yeah.
do you project any of the rookies from go back to 2021, 2022, 23 as a superstar NHL player?
As a superstar? No, I'm not comfortable saying anybody. Even my Shaner, I mean, I won't even make a joke. No, I don't. Not at the moment. No.
Caulfield probably has the best chance. But he's got the size limitation thing.
I still don't want to say I think he'll be a superstar, but I would agree with you. Would he be number 1 on my list? Yeah, I would probably say number 1 on my list. Yeah, I really like.
Or
Rovell.
Celebrini or Mitch Kopp at a very tiny sample size for those guys.
Yeah, I want to see them play more. I've seen Caulfield play quite a bit now, and I'm like, he's the real deal. Whether he can take I don't know.
So that's the midseason report. Anything else stand out to you guys halfway through? Kind of taking the
I thought that was great,
NHL
John. That was good.
hobby angle.
Did you get into that? I didn't put it up. Sorry.
Oh,
we
I'm
should
sorry. Yeah.
we should revisit this at the end of the year. Do an end
Yeah.
of season report. Yeah.
There
See,
you go.
I got good ideas too.
So
Now you can go back to sleep.
Probably while I was, or why I didn't get that up on the screen, I went back and was looking at a comparison between Bedard and Celebrini. I tell you what, these knuckleheads can put shots on the net. Bedard's got 98 shots on net. Celebrini's got 102, but their percentage is just terrible at 10 and 12%.
Some people just can never hit the freaking net, man. Like I grew up with Mike Fisher. That guy could never hit the net.
Well, and Celebrini takes many, many, many shots from outside the dot, the face-off dots.
Yeah.
30% of Bedard's shots are right up the slot. So he's
that wrist shot, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But like, look at Ovi's office. Guys scored the same goal for 20 years.
Right. Yeah. If I looked him up, he'd probably be in like a 50%er where Celebrini takes his 28% shots.
And it beats him almost every time. It's crazy.
Tell you what, though, everything else on here, they're pretty average. You hear a lot of people say, well, Bedard wasn't forced or he doesn't play, a lot of time in the defensive zone. They're exactly the same.
Okay.
We should tell our audience is Adam Fantilli's card going to increase in price, a PSA 10? I don't know. I have no idea. But it's only $100 American dollars. And if you're a card collector, and that's a very reasonable price for a potential blue chip player.
Oh, sure.
Now, if you want to play the game, like, I'll wait till it hits 80. I don't play that game. I what works in my wallet, and I pick that number and I go for it. So all this, not negativity, but we're not being the most optimistic on values and superstardom. They're still going to be in the league. I think we can confirm most of these guys are going to be NHL players. We're just talking if they're going to be superstars. These are pretty good prices if you like grades, right? If you're a PSA guy, these are good prices.
Yeah, I agree. Would never tell anybody what to do here, but $100 for a PSA 10 Fantilli Young Guns
for what he could be. I think that's a very reasonable price.
Yeah, I would.
All right. Got to make a quick mention for Gongshow partner and sponsor Slab Sharks. We're thankful for their support of our show. The current Slab Sharks weekly eBay auction ends tonight. Make sure that you check out slabsharks.com for all their monster cards available in this week's auction. Like every week, there's tons of great cards to choose from. If you're a Canadian hockey cards collector and have not yet tried Slab Sharks eBay consignment services, we'd highly recommend that you do so. They make it super easy to sell your cards on eBay. Slab Sharks will do all the work. All you got to do is submit your cards via their simple to use online system or drop them off with a rep at a card show. It's easy peasy, lemon squeezy, as Phil likes to say all the time. Right?
Yeah.
Phil? No. Okay. Then they'll take high quality photos, list your cards, answer any buyer questions, hunt down payment from winners, and ship to both Canada and the US. And most importantly, handle any post-sale issues. Plus, your cards get included in their very, very popular weekly auctions, which attract tons of hockey card loving eyeballs. So for complete consignment info and to get the process started today, make sure you head to slabsharks.com. All right, boys. It's time for Hobby News.
Hobby News.
Hobby News.
Wow.
Well, I just read the heading.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not new. Why are we talking about this, dude?
For a very specific reason. So we got to start off Hobby News with we haven't checked in a long time on the Pinto Watch.
Pinto time.
But then I got a certain video sent to me more than anything that's ever been sent to me in my life, and that is God's honest truth. Something was sent to me many, many, many dozens of times in the last couple of days.
By one person?
Do you happen to know? No, by many people. Do you happen to know what video I'm talking about, Phil?
Oh, yes. Go ahead.
Okay, well, Louis, go ahead and play the video.
Go ahead.
This is our boy, an NHL Elite score in Pinto. Yeah. All right. Probably
We don't need
enough
audio, I think.
Yeah. He hit the practice ice with his skate guard blades, or skate guards still on, and took a dump right there on the ice. So, what's more damaging, do you think, to the Shane Pinto hobby market this season, Phil? This video or his 6 goals and 10 points in 30 games played?
His 6 goals and 10 points. He'll be fine. He'll be fine.
Now, while Pinto's Young Guns PSA 10, $349 pop, Phil, it had plummeted to just $16 on November 26th. It has rebounded since then. There's been 2 sales since November 26th. One for $24 on December 7th, and then a whopping $43 on January 2nd. Now, be honest.
That's absurd.
No, it wasn't me.
Was that you?
No. Why would that be me? That wouldn't be me. I'm trying to bring up the market. No, it's not me. I still.
And if you're in the market for a raw Shane Pinto Young Guns, like we know our boy Phil here is, well, you can pick one up right now for about $1.50 to $2 US. So now,
I should have went Caulfield way, eh?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Now, what price does that need to hit for you to order the Lambo?
I think I'm at about $5-6, my dollar cost average. So, yeah, that's okay. I'm fine with it. I'm okay. Yeah, I just want my team to make the playoffs. I don't care about my Pinto Young Guns. I just want my hockey team to make the playoffs.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, Louis has a report. Now, you had teased, Louis, a number of weeks ago that the NHL was doing its quarter century teams, so the best players from the first 25 years of the 2000s.
Correct.
And some of those results are out now, right?
Some of them are. So we will start here just to refresh everybody's memory here. At the beginning of the year, the NHL did kick off 2025 by naming franchise starts from the past quarter century for team players. They're announcing first and second quarter century teams for each franchise that's existed since the year 2000. This is all voted on by a panel of media, retired players, and executives specific to each team. The players are judged to have been the best for their team in the past 25 years. So we're going to start off first with the St. Louis Blues. We're going to take this in chunks. I'm only going to do 5 at a time. I know there's 9 out right now, but good Lord, this could take a while if we decide to talk about it. So little note on your St. Louis Blues, if they are your team. Not going to go through the records. That's a lot of numbers, but best season is they won the Stanley Cup in 1819. They've had 9 coaches since the year 2000 and gone through 2 GMs.
9 coaches in 25 years.
9 coaches in 25 years, yes.
Now, how common do you guys think that'll be? Do you think that'll be, what do you think the average will be, like 5 or 6? Or is that about the average?
Even if you're a good coach, you only have a 5-6 year shelf life, I guess. You know, I mean, you go 7 or 8, but
okay.
That's what did we say? 9? Yeah. I'll just tell you this right now, they're probably one of the low ends, believe it or not.
Jeez.
So, St. Louis Blues, first team. Your forwards are Vladimir Tarasenko, Keith Tkachuk, Alexander Steen.
Oh.
Your 2 defenseman choices are Alex Pietrangelo, Chris Pronger, and your first team goaltender, Jordan Binnington.
I'd like to point out Alex Steen was also a late bloomer, if my memory serves me correct.
Okay. And I know he has a huge hobby market, as right up there with Ovechkin, right?
I'm just
well, okay. So the interesting one to me here is Tarasenko, because if you only saw him play like the last 3-4 years, you'd be like, what?
Yeah, Vladimir Tarasenko, what?
For a number of years, though, he was very, very good with the Blues.
Tarasenko was awesome. Tarasenko, bring us to the promised land.
So, just so you know, so Tarasenko has the most goals out of anybody for second team with 262 in 644 games.
I could be wrong, probably am, but I'm pretty sure St. Louis gave him that when he wants to play good, he's one of the best players in the league, and when he wants to take a night off, he disappears. That's what they warned us in when we got him. But he played great in Ottawa. He definitely wasn't a problem. He was a solution here.
Okay.
Your second team. Forwards, David Backus, Ryan O'Reilly, and David Perron.
Nice.
Defenders, Al McGinnis, Colton Pareko, and goaltender Brian Elliott.
Al McInnes, really, for St. Louis? Yeah,
He spent the second half of his career with St. Louis, but
the whole was it that long? Yeah, I always
Yeah.
249 games.
Oh,
44 goals, 143 assists, 187 points.
A lot longer.
I
than
believe he
really-
won his one Norris as a member of the Blues as well.
Holy moly! All right.
Okay. All right.
Next up,
Yeah.
Chicago Blackhawks.
Ooh.
Best seasons, we should say. Stanley Cup wins in 09, 10, 12, 13, and the 14-15 seasons. They have had 10 coaches since 2000 and gone through 5 GMs in that time.
Wow.
First team for the Blackhawks is Patty Kane, Patrick Sharp, and Jonathan Taves. Then-
Wait. This has to be wrong.
Why?
No Bedard?
It's their Stanley Cup first line.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of nice, isn't it? Anyways, then the first team defense for Chicago, Duncan Keith and Brent Seabrook, and their goaltender, Corey Crawford.
Pretty hard to argue with this list here.
I'll just pick the people that won you the cup. I'd take Crawford out, put Belfour in. Why not? Ruffle some feathers.
Well, how many years was Belfour playing for them in the 2000s?
In the 2000s,
Yeah.
0.
Once again, Phil, you lack the ability to listen to directions and follow them all at the same time.
I get you 70% of the way there. Get yourself the rest of the way.
All right, who's the second team?
Your forwards are Alex DeBrincat, Marian Hossa, and Brandon Saad. Defense, Brian Campbell. Honestly, don't even know who he is. And Nicholas Jalmerson.
You know who
Almost
Brian
in it.
Campbell is. You know who Brian Campbell is.
I don't.
You do.
By name, no. And then Jocelyn Thibault
Jocelyn Thibault.
is your second team goaltender.
Host
No
on the
Panarin.
second? Oh, that's kind of yucky. As if the Brinket made it.
Yeah.
Well-
Over Panarin, too. DeBrincat over Panarin?
the Brinket's got this like no one cannot like him thing. He gets big contracts. He's not even that good, man. He's not. He's just anyway. I'm
Well-
sour about him, but
I like Hossa too, but
I love Hosa.
he would be third in of the forwards in games, fourth in games, fourth in goals, fourth in points. So
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
like-
it's interchangeable. I mean, it looks weird to me having him beside Alex DeBrincat. Like, how dare
Right.
they? It's,
Okay, we're going to
All
play a little game here with these.
Okay. do you wanna
Assuming
do?
all these players are at their prime, who wins between the first in a tournament? I'm assuming I'll pick the Blackhawks over the Blues.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. All right. We'll keep that rolling.
Keep it rolling. Next up, Josh, your Arizona Coyotes. Now,
Okay.
quick note, because I didn't put it in the
I'm gonna pick Chicago to beat Arizona as well.
I didn't put it in the slide, but
You
just
don't
so
even know who's on the
everybody
team.
just so everybody knows here, the Arizona Coyotes transferred all their hockey assets to the Utah Hockey Club after the 23-24 season and are now in an active franchise.
Yeah.
You
All
know,
right.
just so you know, Utah now has everything. But Coyotes, best season, Western Conference Finals in 2011-12. They've had 6 coaches since 2000 and
That's it?
7 GMs.
Oh,
hmm
okay.
Your first team forwards for the Coyotes are Shane Doan, Clayton Keller, and Radim Verbata. Defense, Oliver Ekman Larson, and Keith Yandel. Goaltender, Mike Smith.
Okay.
Like it?
No.
Second team, Martin Hansel, Jeremy Roenick, Nick Schmaltz. Defense, Michalik or something. Zybanek, McCallick.
Yeah.
Teppo Numanen and Ilya Brizgalov is your second team goalie.
I'm pretty sure that both the Blues and the Blackhawks beat this team.
Yeah.
I would agree.
JR would be more fun to play with, though.
Yeah.
Not against, maybe.
Next
All right.
up is
Oh, this will be interesting.
the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Rick Nash.
Ricky Nash. Best season. Second round in 2018-19. Number of coaches since 2000. I like this. 12. But 13 with Mike Babcock, who resigned before coaching a game.
He doesn't count. Let's get rid of his name in hockey.
That's really bad. 12 coaches in 25 years. Ooh.
The CBJs have been through 6 GMs, too.
If you've gone through 12 coaches in 25 years, the problem's not the coach.
It's the owner.
The problem's you. Yeah.
Is Columbus a big city? No, eh?
I have no idea how big Columbus really is.
Well, it's a college town. So Ohio State University's there. It's
The Buckeyes.
the Buckeyes. So Cleveland and Cincinnati are definitely bigger.
Okay.
But,
So your
Big
first
sports town.
teamers on forwards, Cam Atkinson, Rick Nash, Artemi Panarin.
huh?
Your 2 first team D is Seth Jones and Zach Werenski. And in goal, Sergei Bobrovsky.
Wow. So Panarin makes the Blue Jackets first team, but not
The
any
Blackhawks.
team on the Blackhawks.
Mm-mm.
It's interesting.
Only 160 games with the Blue Jackets, too.
Huh. Second team. I probably don't even know these players.
Well, that kind of blows me away, though. I mean, Panarin, 160 games, 55 goals, 114 assists while he was
That's
with
good.
them. That seems low. Anywho,
Oh, your boy Verinsky there, Phil.
Yeah.
All right.
second team, Nick Foligno, the late Johnny Gaudreau, and Boone Jenner
Oh,
as your
yeah.
forwards. D, David Savard, and Fedor Kutnin. And goalie, Steve Mason.
All right, who wins at a tournament between Coyotes and Blue Jackets, Phil?
Ooh. I'm going to go Blue Jackets. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go Blue Jackets too. What about you?
Yeah.
Lee?
Yeah, I'm going to say Blue Jackets too. First
Who's
team,
on the D? Who's on the D for Phoenix again? I'm drawing a blank.
Oliver Ekman-Larsson and Keith Yandel.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
They're good.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I'll take Seth Jones and Werenski over those two.
All right. Then the last one I'm going to touch on for this group is the Florida
Ooh.
Panthers.
On, this will be a good one. Pavel Bure.
So, best season, Stanley Cup win in 23-24. Number of coaches since 2015.
No way.
Yeah.
Number of GMs, 11. That's a lot of coaches.
Yeah.
Hold on. I want to just sneak peek ahead here for a second.
No sneak peek. Get it
Okay.
going.
Yeah, come on, let's go.
Oh, stop it. First team, Alexander Barkov,
Sasha.
Jonathan Hubidubidow, and Matty Kachuk.
Oh.
On D, Aaron Ekblad. And Gustav Forsling. In goal, Robert Luongo.
Bobby Lou.
Bob Roberto.
Bobby Lou.
Baba Luongo. Second team, Pavel Bure, Ole Jokinen, and Sam Reinhart. On D, Jay Baumeister and Robert Schwella.
Oh, no, Rob Niedermeyer. Interesting.
And in goal, again, Sergei
Bob.
Bobrovsky.
All right, who wins between Panthers and Blackhawks?
Oh,
Ooh.
Panthers.
think so?
Blackhawks.
Three
I want them
times
to.
Stanley Cup. Yeah.
I was always upset when Chicago kept winning and winning, and then Dustin Byfuglien, big fatso skating on the ice. I'm like, this team's stacked. I was happy for Hossa though.
All right, that's kind of interesting. Yeah, we'll go through more.
That was good, Louis.
Yeah, we'll go through the next 5, maybe, I don't know,
Mhm.
in a week or so.
Going to move on though. We were pleased to have the opportunity the other day to chat with Darren Rovell from Collect Media. For us Americans that grew up in the 90s, Rovell, and early 2000s, Rovell was a staple on ESPN, really known for his, as the preeminent sports business reporter. We wanted to chat with Darren about what it's like, building a media company in the collecting space, as well as his thoughts on key issues and stories for the hockey hobby and collecting in 2025. So, with that said, we hope you enjoy our conversation with Darren Rovell from Collect. All right, we're very pleased and excited to have Darren Rovell from Collect Media on the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast. Hey, Darren, how's it going? Oh, you're on mute, bud.
Josh, Phil, how are you?
Doing awesome. Being on mute is like a thing everybody does it on the show, so don't worry about that. Very happy you could join. And I want to start by actually talking about Collect a little bit because I'm very fascinated by it. And the one thing I want to say even before that, though, is getting to chat with you tonight is a treat for me because as a kid of the 90s who was a sports junkie, right? I grew up in the era of Sports Center all day and running to the mailbox to get my Sports Illustrated magazine. And I've always had a particular interest on the sports business side. And so I've been eating up your content for many, many years. Anytime like Michael Jordan did a shoe deal or jersey sales, anything of that nature. And so I just want to say that I've always appreciated your work.
Awesome. You're the one. So thank you. I appreciate that. I can't believe I've been doing this for 25 years. It's been a tremendous run. In 1998, when I was at Northwestern, and I said to myself, I kind of want to be a journalist, but I don't want to toil in the small markets. How can I have some sort of niche that is just big enough that enough people care, but small enough that no one's done it? And that was sports business to me. And, proud that over 25 years, I've kind of become the face. And I would hopefully that I've kind of added to when people think in their heads, like, oh, that's a new shoe deal. Like hopefully they think of me and think a little bit like I've thought over the past 25 years. It's been very interesting. As a kid of the 90s, if you looked at Sports Center at some point around 1990, that's when they felt like they needed to report salaries every time someone signed with the team. Before that, it was just this player's on this team, and this guy got traded, and this is the free agent. And, so I kind of feel like I was born at the perfect place at the perfect time. But people really need to know the business now, because if you don't, then you're just that stupid fan who calls up on the radio station who makes no sense. And I think everyone wants to be a better fan. And I think through the advent of sports talk radio, that's kind of been even greater because, you don't want to be a fool. And as fantasy has come into it and betting, now it's tied to your money, your actual money. No, it's not only you think that you own the player because you're in that city, but now you actually can do something with your money and affect your money if you're smarter about it. So really enjoyed it. Was at ESPN from 2000 to 2006, and then CNBC from 6 to 12, and then back to ESPN through 2018. Saw sports betting on the horizon, felt like I could talk about sports betting as much as sports business. I did that for 5 years at the Action Network. We sold, and then kind of the most natural thing for me to do was going into collecting. I have been collecting over the past 20 years very seriously, and was intrigued that there really had not been a serious media outlet, despite the fact that there were billions and billions of dollars into it. In fact, I would say that not having a serious media outlet in 2024 is more shocking than sports business not being covered in 1998. Maybe it has to do with the conflicts of interest and how media companies need to make money. that we've dealt with, and I can tell you a little bit more about our business model. But it's been really great. Over 9 months, we've done more than 2,000 stories. We've had more than 3 million hits. We've been everywhere because
Mhm.
despite people fighting for SEO, where you have to try to be the first on the Google machine, we do that. But at the same time, we are in some sense the only ones writing about these stories or leading these stories, and that makes it a whole lot easier to be found. So it's been a great run since April, and excited.
Yeah, when I first heard what you were doing with Collect, I think my mind went exactly where yours is. Is that even outside of media coverage, to a large degree, the collectibles industry until the last few years, to me, seems like it was very sort of like flea market, right? It was like the $5 billion flea market economy.
Which doesn't make sense because you're talking about it in a way that is not professionally covered. The art market has that, the wine market
Yeah.
has that. So, why isn't sports memorabilia covered in that same way? And we also felt like it wasn't just sports; it was everything. But yes, I agree with you. It was covered in the land of press releases and nothing serious. And one of the things that I had noticed that through my Twitter feed, whenever I reported a sale that was publicly available, that was part of an auction, there seemed to be a lot of interest in things. So I felt
Mhm.
like this is greater than Twitter. There are stories behind all these, and I think that the public deserves to read them.
How did your friends and like more the traditional media, whether it be like news outlets or sports media, how did they react when they found out that you were going, very knee deep into the collectibles space? Where it was,
Much less than when I was going into the gambling space.
yeah,
You got to remember that in 2018, I was literally the first big name to touch gambling. I started in May 2018. PASPA got repealed, and 6 months later, I was at the Action Network. So I was the first one to really dip my toe in. There was some negativity, but not as much as you would think, because then it was legal. I think people just said, "Oh yeah, this is definitely your calling." And I think I've kind of garnered a bunch of credibility by the fact that I had gone from being kind of the niche guy to everything, and I think kind of, hey, Darren must know that this is next. Part of it was that, but part of it was also, I'm 46 years old and I want to do what I want to do.
yeah.
That required raising $4 million and, doing some things that, I'm going to run this business. I pay payroll and all this other stuff. But yeah, it's really been as good as I could imagine. And, part of it was, so we raised $4 million in 9 days, and only one group challenged the valuation and said no, and everyone kind of got in. I got 4 billionaires as part of the cap table, and it was great. But I did this saying, I don't know what our business model is. I have no idea. The only thing I
Yeah.
know is that we're going to be number one in talking about collectibles, and that will yield some business.
Mhm.
And what we found is that the greatest need right now is for teams, leagues, and companies to understand what collectability is, how to build collectibles, and how to preserve their future collectibles. And
Gotcha.
so we are a media outlet, but our main source of income is not selling that media, which, by the way, also means that we will not be compromised by a deal with a card company.
Mhm.
In order to survive, we don't need them. But it also means that we're talking to all these big companies who have to learn what the collector expects from limited edition and
Yeah.
one of ones and all this. And corporate America simply doesn't know. Teams, we have I just put out a tweet. We have Connor McDavid's skates from the Stanley Cup final going. They are being auctioned in the next 3 hours, and
Cool.
They're very low. I mean, I know that the Oilers didn't win that game, but
Yeah.
at $2,800 for a pair that he wore the entire finals, the Oilers have to buy that. Like, they
Yes.
have to buy that, and teams don't understand. I say for every $1 billion you're worth, you need to spend $500,000 a year on getting your history back.
Well, when not only should the Oilers buy that, but if they could tie it into the NHL Face-Off Amazon series, where after the game when Connor McDavid won the Conn Smythe, and you saw for the first time emotion out of him.
Yeah, he
Right.
has been not like a robot in old Soviet Cold War robot, but yes, certainly not that emotional. Yes,
Because I think it's the finals, that emotion, and the Conn Smythe that really make those skates special. And
yeah, I
warrant.
agree. And but then I had all these hockey guys tell me, no, they lost. I go, it doesn't matter. It's team history. You made it to the end. And in talking to a lot of teams, we found like there are teams that sold their whole history off. There are teams that just have it in a locker and are not paying attention to it. The Blackhawks recently hired an archivist, to archive stuff and go find stuff.
Oh wow!
So Darren, how do
but
you?
There's a massive, but Phil, there's a massive issue here because if a player wants to buy their own sticks and gloves and everything and skates, they keep them. And there's been a lot of tension with equipment managers because equipment managers used to make money out the back door. Yeah. And when you have a Sotheby's deal in the NBA, and all of a sudden they say, "We'll pay you $170 for the Wemby jersey," and it's going to go for $45,000, it becomes an issue. There's a lot of tension between teams and players now because players are buying their own stuff. Well, what do we get? Well, and the team can't buy it back from the player because it'd be a salary cap violation. The team cannot hand money to a player in any way for any of his stuff. So what happens now is the team has a deal with Migray. Connor McDavid gives up his skates to Migray. Migray puts it on auction. Now the team can buy it. It was available to everyone. Connor McDavid is not the beneficiary of it, and that is not a cap violation. So these are the intricate conversations that we want to help teams. Mm-hmm. We want to help teams negotiate player clauses, dealing with their memorabilia into their contracts. We want to help the NHL do that. We want to be at the Board of Governors meetings and talk about these things because guess what? When Ovi's on 894, it's too late.
Yeah. Well, okay, I'm going to give you a scenario that we were just talking about and, ways the hockey hobby could innovate. One of the things that immediately came to my mind was to somehow, it's a little trickier than with Fanatics because Fanatics makes the jerseys too, but for the NHL for Upper Deck to work with the NHLPA, have very specific game use patches like an NHL debut, right? And my thought was, well, you have 3 periods, right? First period goes to the player. Second period goes to the team or the Hall of Fame, whatever. You know more about that. And the third period goes to Upper Deck. Why couldn't?
Yeah, I mean, what you mentioned the Hall of Fame. Okay, so the Hall of Fame is an interesting one. The Hall of Fame is just like you give it to the Hall of Fame out of like fear that the ghosts of the past will actually strangle your neck. However, as things get more valuable, teams are having a greater issue with what should we give to the Hall of Fame? Like, I mean, I want to, not to be an a-hole, but I want to empower teams to say, no, this is very valuable. You actually don't really owe them anything. Or you can say, listen, time is what makes this. If you hold it for a very, very long time, it's not going to work. If you really want this, we'll give it to you for a week. And everyone.
So are there talks right now around Ovi? Like, is that all being hashed out?
I have information that I know that I can't put out there publicly. because
So
we've
is that how you try? You try to get ahead of this, Darren? Like you'll call the Boston Bruins. Nothing has happening anytime soon, but you'll build a relationship with them. And be
yes
proactive?
yes on
Okay.
anniversaries. Hey, you have something. I
Okay.
will tell you, we've called and spoken to the Capitals. Yeah, but there's all these scenarios, and the idea is to not be late, right? If a significant milestone happens and you're talking to the Hall of Fame right after the significant milestone for the first time about it, you're done. You're dead. There's no leverage. You have to say 5 weeks before, this is what you are getting. Do you want it or not? Because the nth hour, and we're just asking teams to be like, hey, if you have the first pick in the draft, make sure you have 15 hats. Make sure you have someone who's there for the first interview. If it's, let's say, the Senators have the first pick. There you go.
They could.
And I know.
Very well might.
I know. That's why I said it. And you're like, yeah, I'd rather have a better hockey season.
Yeah, much more. Yeah.
Senators have the first pick. You have 15 hats. The first time he does his first Ottawa interview, put the hat on, take it off, label it. First time when he goes up on stage, shakes the hand of Gary Bettman or wherever, label it. Keep it all. Give 9 or keep 9 for your own team. Give 3 to your owners or whatever. But you need to create these things because it's otherwise
History. It's history.
It's history. Otherwise, you can't. And we've talked to the NHL too. Again, I don't want to air conversate. This is where I'm conflicted. But I will say, there are a lot of leagues and teams who say, well, we have a deal with Fanatics. And I'm here to say that Fanatics actually doesn't cover everything. Your Fanatics deal does not cover everything. You as a league still have to fight for your survival. And what's happening now is hockey is indisputably the game for kids. Their heads are going in 8 million directions. They can't watch baseball. They can't watch live basketball. And they sure as hell can't watch live football. Hockey is the sport where you're 20, break, 20, break, 20. And I've seen it with my kids. I didn't push them to hockey. They gravitated to hockey.
Oh, nice. Good.
The problem. Yeah, I mean, I lived a mile away from the Nassau Coliseum, and my first year of loving sports was a year after the Islanders won 4. And I never stepped into the Nassau Coliseum. Hockey just wasn't my sport. But now it is. Now
You made babies that do. Yeah.
now we're Devils fans. We were season ticket holders. My kids play for the youth Devils. I mean, that's where it's at now. But I feel like the issue is that the cards aren't good enough. Now, Black Diamond, they do Upper Deck does a bunch of stuff that's good. The Cup, right? But I feel like the cards don't match the heat of baseball and football. The only way people get into the sport is these kids get in through cards and video games. Yeah. The video game is not good enough relative to the experience, relative to FIFA, MLB The Show, and Madden.
Can I ask you another question on those lines, though, Darren?
I'm just saying, Josh, the league cannot sit there idly and say it is what it is. They have to stick their foot in there and say it's not good enough.
Well, my problem with NHL marketing for a long time, and I'm curious to get your opinion if you think it's getting better, is that the league has refused to market personalities. It's been the old Yankees model. It's not about the name on the back, it's the logo on the front. And
oh, really? Then why were the Blackhawks playing in the Winter Classic?
Well, I know. Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Is that
in the Winter Classic?
Because of Bedard. Okay. But
so you're not staying away from it. No one wanted to watch the actual Blackhawks on a couple days ago.
Let alone against the Blues, which was
they had nice toques, nice hats. That's about it.
Yeah. Nice Wrigley Field, but in the first 5 minutes, I'm like, is this AAA versus the Squirts?
Okay, but let me ask you a follow-up to that. Do you think you're a Devils fan? Is the NHL doing a good enough job marketing Jack Hughes to young players, to young kids? And
so the NHL, hockey in general, is a little bit harder than the other sports, and let me tell you why. It is, I believe, more of a team game than even football. When you have
Mhm.
free agents, you don't know how they're like. I think in every other major sport except hockey, you do not know how guys are going to gel. You really don't.
Mhm.
Like, we got Cotter and Kovacevic. I was like, okay, do I like that? I don't know. Seems like middle of the road guys. And in the first part of the season, the way they gel and the way their game styles work, it works.
Poetry.
Yeah.
It's amazing, right? And that doesn't have that. I'm not trying to defend the NHL. I'm just saying how hockey works. Jack is legitimately only as good as everyone as they set him up, right?
Mhm.
And that's not really the case. Like, there could still be great one-on-one matchups with an NFL quarterback and a wide receiver. I don't think Jack can be great by himself if the other team is not doing the job. If the rest of the team is not doing the job, but they need to market more. Now, Jack needs to be able to speak better.
Sure.
Most of the hockey guys need to speak a bit better.
That is also the issue, and I'm not
Yeah.
even talking obviously there with a language barrier. They need to have more interesting content, more interesting
Personalities.
interviews. Jack's only highlight can't be when a Rangers commentator makes fun of how he beautifully skated or whatever. I mean, it can't only be when he's tweaked, because hockey is a niche, and I think the only way it can grow is for the players to speak about what makes it so great and to convince fans and people who are just looking for something. I think the gift is that, again, kids are looking at their phones and walking at the same time, right? I think the gift is that the youth of America are triggered. Their brain is triggered to the NHL. But the
Well,
NHL doesn't have a director of youth marketing.
huh. Well, I look at, like, I'm a very casual baseball fan, but in my own revisionist history world, I look back at a guy like Bryce Harper who was willing to say, bedamned the unwritten rules of baseball.
Yes.
I'm going to show my personality. And then it's a couple years later, Darren, and you have Ronald Acuna Jr., you have Fernando Tatis Jr., Vlad Guerrero. You have all these really cool guys
It
that, I
didn't
mean, to
happen
us,
by accident.
yeah, but they were allowed to do that. So I think that needs to happen in
Well,
hockey.
that led to then Players Week happened, where they were allowed to wear more crazy shoes, or do their pencil bats or whatever, and yes, you need to have personality. You need to have personality. There needs to be why it still seems like jerseys are why do I still think the greatest hockey jerseys are like the Manitoba Moose and what the jerseys aren't. We should have one day where they're so crazy and awesome. Why are we so scared?
Well, the NHL is going the other way, though. They're making them wear helmets during, like, one of the great parts of hockey was getting to the barn early
Yes.
and watching
the
the big
warm-ups without their
and the warm-ups without
helmet
that.
off.
And then what does the NHL do? They make them wear helmets. It's insane. So it's like, I think it's going the other way. It's going too tight,
Well,
see what happens.
Gary, I think the greatest thing to happen would be, if when it's time for Gary to leave, for someone to, he was a non-hockey guy.
Yeah, I know.
He was
the
a
best guy.
non-hockey guy.
I know.
Okay?
Almost 30 years he's been the commissioner.
So I think the farthest away we can get from the NHL, put someone in there. But maybe it'll be Bill Daly.
Mhm.
That would be great. That wouldn't be stuffy at all, would it? No.
I want to switch gears really quick with you, and I'm kind of interested in your take in the differences in the card manufacturers, right? So we have basically Panini, Upper Deck, and Fanatics and Tops, of course. And we mainly focus on, we have a good relationship with Upper Deck, but to us, they're very kind of secretive in a lot of ways that we think the other manufacturers aren't. And it just got me to think, to ask you if you see just major differences in how these three companies both conduct their business and communicate with their customers.
Yeah, I mean, since Fanatics bought Topps, I mean, they're on fire from a standpoint of on social media. They grab things when something happens, almost like, are they setting this stuff up where like an actress opens up Jackson Holiday gets a Jackson Holiday 1/1. I mean, they're on top of scraping anything that has to do with their cards. The viral heat that they've gotten from these, you buy the Topps now and there's one chase card. I mean, God, the Olympic one's never showing up, the Olympic triple auto, and so it's insane. So I think Topps Fanatics, as far as communication is one. I think it's Panini and then Upper Deck. I think Upper Deck is kind of now in a little brother syndrome. I think they're scared. They know that their only major sport is hockey. And I think they're scared to share much. And, I don't know where they're going to, build back up, but some of it has to be in the marketing of hockey itself. And getting more people to buy. I'd be really interested to see, if the buyer of hobby boxes has changed much for Upper Deck in the last bunch of years.
Well, you're looking at two of them.
Yeah. But the one thing Upper Deck does
why,
do, though,
why you have bought or haven't bought?
Well, I'm a hockey guy, Upper Deck guy only, right? Because they only make hockey, so I buy boxes all the time.
Yeah. What do we got here? Hold on. Let's see here. Hold on.
Yeah.
pulling something off the wall here. Here we go.
Oh, he's got some O-Pee-Chee platinum.
There we go.
Oh, you bought some ingrained. What? Why are you busting all this stuff out there? This is awesome. Rip something.
Yeah.
Open something.
Hold on. We're not done yet.
Sorry, Josh. He's doing good.
Well, we just
Yeah, man. We're all kids at the end. Oh, my.
Did I rip open the cotton? No, we're not going to do that.
I wish we were neighbors, Darren.
There you go. Some serious one. You got to get those kids opening those cards. Darren.
I know. I you know what? They've been so bad. Should we open one up?
Yeah, let's do it.
What do you want to do? SP Authentic?
Sure.
Whatever you want, man. I can't believe you. I think that's great. Yeah, it's fantastic. All right. So do you have a favorite any hockey card PC, Darren? Like, do you have a little small but mighty collection?
I have. I wish I prepared, but I didn't. So
that's okay. I never do.
I have some hockey tickets that are great. I have the Orr Flying Goal ticket.
Really? Yeah, you're a big ticket guy, right?
Yeah, one of 7 that are out there. I have the only Miracle on Ice ticket signed by Al Michaels. Do you believe in miracles?
Wow.
And I have a great one. I have a great story regarding my neighbor came over my house and gave me a shoebox of tickets. And he goes, hey, there's nothing good in here. It's just like 1978 to 1982. It's MSG. It's Brendan Byrne Arena. It's whatever, but there's nothing good in here. Okay, let me look through it. And I'm looking through it, and there's Madison Square Garden, and it says U.S. versus USSR, Madison Square Garden. And I'm like,
oh my goodness.
This is the 10-3 game before Miracle on Ice.
Before Miracle on Ice.
When Herb Brooks was like, yeah, guys, we're going for bronze. And I go to look on PSA, and the population of that ticket is 0. They had not graded a single one of those tickets, and there were 2 there. So I go, all right, let's get it graded and let's throw it up. Threw it up on eBay, $4,700 later. I go to my neighbor. You are an effing idiot. And if I wasn't a public person who would have to post this, and I know you follow my ass, I would just take the money and run. So I don't know if I'm an ethical person, but I'm giving you $2,200, you jerk. And I'm keeping the other one. But that's certainly one of them.
Taking them out for dinner and called it a day, I think, on that.
I have the ticket to the Rangers ticket to, I think, the most shots on goal in hockey history in 1970. I think it's 69 shots on goal. Wow. They pulled the goalie for like 8 minutes up 8-4 or something. So the way it went down was that they had to actually in order to make the playoffs, they had to outscore the Red Wings, who were playing in another game.
Oh, I got you.
And so they scored 9 goals, and they had to do crazy things like up, so I have that. But that's pretty much my hockey. I don't really have I don't collect. It's very hard to collect hockey just because that means you have to go to the Toronto show and everything.
Yeah, you should come.
You should.
I know.
You know us now.
Let's see if I got anything.
We're kind of a big deal sometimes. So
Yeah.
Well, it's the second biggest show in the world, Darren.
I know, it's amazing. I'm told to go up there. I have a guy who lives in town who's maybe the greatest U.S. hockey collector, who Justin
Josh
Silver.
Oh, yeah, Justin. Yeah,
Justin, he's great.
do you have anyone on staff, Darren, that for your, because your webpage is, I mean, it's phenomenal, the Collect website. Do you have anyone on staff that's more hockey knowledgeable?
No, I mean, the way it works is we have a card guy who covers all of cards.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And then we have historical. I mean, it just kind of works out that way. I think we talk about cards the most because we have to. But we're not to the point where we're splitting it out by sport.
Okay. It's a good problem to have if you have to have that problem.
Yeah. When anything hits or when anything's really interesting, I think we nail it.
Our producer Louie's got a pretty big Nico Hischier collection. You might want to put him on the front page of your website.
He's still our captain, and he's sneaky good. He's really good. I think he doesn't really get as good of doesn't really have as good of a reputation nationally as he should.
We don't talk about him much up here.
I think because most captains are flashy with, sometimes he's not leading the team in goals or assists, but he got off to a very hot start.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really good player, former number 1 pick, and just very solid. But the one thing that we found that is an absolute truism, at least in hockey, is teams get 1 star. And then maybe a second. So they're like Cale Makar and Nathan McKinnon would be an example. McDavid and Draisaitl would be an example. But you never get a third. It's like Mikko Rantanen, scores 40 to 50 goals a year and nobody cares.
Right.
Probably as it relates to
right.
And so you're lucky if if your team has 1 star, and with Jack Hughes and probably Luke Hughes, he's a popular hobby chase. It's very hard for a player like Nico Hischier to get a lot of hype.
That's fair. Yet my daughter's favorite player is Eric Halla.
Golden Gopher, Eric Halla.
Yeah. Yep. It's really it's really interesting. It's thank God. It's hard being now. Listen, I've only been a Devils fan since my kids got into it and everything. So I tell people I still have only 1 title in all my years of rooting for sports. I only have the 86 Mets.
Okay.
Because the Devils I picked up in 14. And so, I didn't have a hockey team really before that. So
what's your NFL team?
The Jets.
I'm a
Jets. I'm a Long Island guy, so it's the Jets, the Mets, and actually the Nets. Wouldn't have mattered, by the way, if it was the Knicks. It could be the Knicks or the Nets. They both haven't won. So
I jumped ship when Aaron got signed. I couldn't handle it, man. My son's a Bills Mafia guy, so I'm just kind of hovering around.
Well, I didn't jump ship, but I do hate Aaron Rodgers.
Since 8 years old, I've been a Jets fan.
What a bloviating that guy is. Yeah.
Tough to love.
I'm just not a fan of him. That's all. And did you hear though? New rumors of Rexy. Rex might come back.
Oh my God!
I know. It's not going to be good, but it kind of is good in a silly way.
He heard the players weren't wearing cleats, so he got excited.
Now let's go get our goddamn snack.
Yeah.
All right. So what year SPA is that? Is that 23, 24?
23, 24. Yeah.
All right. Let's get a Bedard Future Russia.
Wait, has that Bedard 1 of 1 been found?
Not yet.
No.
They got rid of the bounty though, and it was very controversial.
Right. Well, Nick Suzuki. Oh, it's my guy now.
Jacob
Markstrom. Yeah,
that's a base card, Darren.
I know. Believe me. My son stands by the garbage can. And if
Okay.
it does not have a number, literally throws it out. Like
Oh.
that. This
Are you
is
serious? Oh, that's not good.
this is the degenerate economy we are living in.
Oh,
That's
it's the
not good.
age of 12-year-olds at Zion cases that have $30,000 of cards in their case. and they-
Exactly.
You know how many kids push
All
me
right, we got
around
a
with
goose
Pelican case?
It's in auto.
Oh, there we go. They're nice
Oh,
little
former
wild. So
senator.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
you still got your
Well-
Future Watch auto.
What'd you say?
You'll still have a Future Watch auto. That was
Yeah,
the
yeah,
second auto of the box.
Darren, you really should try and come out for research purposes for business. You should really come to the
For Toronto.
Expo.
Okay.
It is such a great vibe, man. Comfy, cozy. I know you guys do everything bigger and better. Bigger, maybe not necessarily better in America. But this is we have it's a big shot and it's a big deal and it's just awesome, man. It would be
All right,
you'd
I
be
get it.
really impressed, I think. If
I'm
you
getting a Future Watch auto.
Yeah, there will be one in every box.
Who do I want?
Well,
Connor
Bedard would be number
Right.
one, or you'd have Leo Carlson.
Oh.
There's Heishier. Luke Hughes.
I just got the Leo Carlson unsigned.
Logan Cooley is another Golden Gopher for Utah Hockey Club.
Cooley's a gopher.
Did you go to Minnesota?
I did. My
Okay.
son's there now.
So when I was at Northwestern, Ricky Birdsong, our late coach, got so angry he went up in the stands during the game. That was
Wasn't that Latrell Sprewell in basketball?
No, yeah. Were you talking football or basketball?
basketball.
Basketball. Yeah, I was there during the Clem Haskins
Oh yeah,
Final Four debacle.
yeah. Clem Haskins, and what about Sam Jacobson? Right?
Yeah, Minnesota kid.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm down to my. What are we gonna do here?
Not
You
hearing
still
any
got that
big
Future Watch
scream.
auto.
Yeah.
I like when the guy's opening up the Desert Storm cards and he's like, a Saddam Hussein rookie card.
Saddam Hussein rookie card.
Yeah, it's a little.
I've not
Strange.
seen that.
Oh my God,
I'd like to though.
It's
That
so
sounds
good.
funny.
It's so good. I mean, it's hilarious. He's like, I don't believe it.
Okay, well, while you're opening, I got another question I wanted to ask you. It's sort of, been last couple of years sort of a hot topic in all the hobby. It's really I know that there's not like a technical legal monopoly, but the feeling of monopoly is just with PSA and how successful they are, and with all the licensing agreements that are exclusive. Is this, good or bad, or, where do you see this headed?
I mean, I think it is what it is. Fanatics and PSA, PSA has kind of earned its space. I think CGC, those guys, I think they should do like a one, like where's the marketing against PSA that worked during COVID? Better speed, right? The better speed was SGC, right?
Yeah.
And they won the baseball vintage business, and then PSA bought them.
Bottom. Yeah.
So like, where is the? I think that I got an auto, Future
Okay.
Watch,
Who is it?
Miralainen.
That's good.
Yeah, that's all right.
I mean,
Better than could be somebody else. He's my goalie.
there
That's
we
a
go.
retro. Yeah.
He's
there we
yeah,
go.
he might be playing tonight. It's
I
either
actually
him
might
or
have a
Philly.
3 auto box because that's if
I
you
got
get a
a-
retro, does that count as your Future Watch auto, or do you get another like a true Future Watch?
I don't know. I have 2 packs left, so I don't think so.
All right.
But
Is there any hope for Beckett in your eyes?
now that's going to be really interesting because the perception was they were minutes from being sold off, and now they've been recapitalized.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting. I don't know enough about their finances to make a good call there.
Do you
What
think
about
they're sharp?
strategically? Do you think that they have a plan to
Based
reverse
on
course?
based on their past, no. I'm going to say no.
Do you think are there some big players, maybe Sharks circling because of the name, right? Like that name is
Yeah,
in.
but Beckett's still gold. I mean, again, they just need to. They did a little. I'm a big ticket guy. They did like, hey, we'll write more on the flip than PSA writes. There was something there, but at the end of the day, it's like everything else. It's like the value's not there. So I don't
Yeah.
care how quickly I get my ticket, if my ticket's not worth the same.
Mhm.
So it's, I think people just have to, it is what it is, and people should use their voice on Twitter or X, on Instagram, to like, when they don't like something, they should voice it. It's clear that Fanatics hears everything. I think Fanatics is probably overly sensitive because of the way that, there's been some jersey mess ups and other things that have happened, that they're kind of on high alert for a company that most companies of their size don't care. I think they do, because of how things have come out and how sensitive they are to, if you do something about a crazy jersey that was messed up and you have 7 followers on X, talk about shark circling. I mean, someone cannot wait to hit the retweet button. And
Yeah.
and so they know that, and they're aware of that.
We live in a gotcha society now, right?
Yes,
Gotcha,
yes.
gotcha.
Sure,
And
for
everyone,
sure.
but if you turn around, you're going to get got eventually
Yes.
soon too, right? It's
Yes.
too bad.
Yeah.
Okay, I have one last question for you. Do you think that sometimes I think that the hobby sort of gets consumed by negativity, right? That's what propels, like, a lot on the influencer or YouTube side, right? It's all everything that's wrong with company A, B, C, and D, or is is that just life in 2025, or is there something to that where it's not, maybe the good things of the collecting of the hobby are
Are
not.
people just unhappy about everything?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Post COVID, yeah, it's tough. It's tough. COVID broke a lot of brains, I think, and we're all trying to
Listen,
be
I,
happy.
it's not really a meritocracy. I don't think you can, but there are people who say, I don't like how things are, and I'm going to invent something, right? Like those new cases with the 4 magnets. What is that called? It's like a one-touch type of case, but it's an amazing new, and there's like
Oh,
case
okay.
cards in it and stuff. I forgot what it's called, but like, those guys are doing pretty well. I mean, I'm also a skeptic because that you had Genament, which was, kind of like AI type grading, and then PSA bought it and says they use it behind the scenes, but they still have the real human graders. It's like, okay, did you buy it because you wanted to put it away, or what?
You never know.
Um,
Yeah,
I just hope. I think there's also a lot of reason for skepticism, right? Like,
sure.
we just did a story on the Ricky Henderson 1980 Topps card, and it's like, how do your odds, not number of submitted, how do your odds get so much worse over the past 5 years to get a PSA 10?
Yeah.
If they're in the same sheets, and it just shouldn't be. So like, what is being artificially controlled? What is not being artificially controlled? And yes, Josh, I think we live in a world where questioning the truth, even if it is the truth, and saying things that are false, even if it's known it's not the truth, is fashionable.
Yeah.
Good word.
Does the hobby need more regulation, do you think, to help?
I think things that need more. I think that breaking is going to change in the next 6 months. I think
6 months, really?
Yeah, I think that is going to quickly come to an end. At least in the United States, I think attorney generals and it to me, it is clearly gambling.
Yeah.
We're a bit slower up here, so just move on up here. And
Well, you guys have the tax free 50/50, and everything's all good over there. So
yeah, tax on everything else though. 38% all the way across.
So do you see breaking going away, or do you see it just being regulated like gambling is, and much more?
I mean, I think it
controlled?
has to change in some way.
Okay.
It has to change in some way. You can't give someone nothing and then be like, oh, we can't give someone nothing, so let's just give them a card. Let's send them a card. And it's like, if the card is a sham, then the whole thing is a sham. So I think that could really change. That's why, I've encouraged, the eBays, the whatnots, the loops of the world, to say Fanatics Lives, to say, you guys are like 99% breaking. Like you should probably buy an insurance policy. Let me do some memorabilia on your site.
Yeah.
You, Darren, about grading in general, just a very general question. Do you foresee in the next 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, a company like Tag Objective Grading coming out and doing it properly in regard to logistics and being able to handle the amount of traffic and quantity coming in? Do you think grading will eventually go AI objectively and not a human subjective opinion?
The question is will it be part of the dialogue or will it be the thing? And by the way, I love the Tag guys who are like, I mean, they have been so smart with like, you can get your own card.
Yeah.
Have you seen that? So my
Yeah,
kid
the brothers like
my
Matthew
kid
and,
pays $50, to get his own card. And it's like, oh, well, what are you, a custom card company? No, we're a grading company. But the question is, so right now we have all these scanning programs where you scan and it tells you the value of a raw card. And no one's like, tell me the value of the raw card. What do you like? Why don't you tell me exactly what the grade is and what the last eBay price paid was? I think that there's a lot of intricacies to each of the cards, but there are a lot of intricacies to other things in life where robots have taken over. So I don't think that's an excuse. So I think it's going to depend on what PSA wants.
Really?
Sure.
So do you? It sounds like you kind of like the personal opinion grading.
I just think it is what it is. I do think that there's the ability to not do it, and to do robotic, but it also could be explained away like it must be a human. But with the way Chat GPT is writing, full papers in 30 seconds for,
Just the way Tag's grading their cards. That's what I love that. My only knock on Tag is, I mean, it's not a knock. I guess it's just a criticism. They can't handle the volume. Once they introduced the tier system,
right,
80% of people that were using Tag that I personally know stopped. They're like, forget that. They just gave up.
Right.
That's
Because if you're going up against PSA, you have to compete on price. You have to
volume. Yeah, you have to be able to handle the volume.
And that's what SGC did. They did it right. That's why I think the CGC guys now grading cards, they should just say, hey, guys, it's one price for everything. If you happen to have a $10,000 card, who the hell takes from what your take would be? Like, how is that? Is that ethical? That's what
I'm saying. You talking about the upcharges?
Yeah, the upcharges. Yeah,
that's what I say all the time. It's
we just made you more valuable. Now let me take my hand and put it in your pocket and take some more dollars out.
It's crazy. That's my biggest beef, my biggest one.
And they say, well, people are happy to pay because we gave them the grade.
Flippers are happy to pay, collectors are not. Right? If I get a Patrick Waugh 10 and it's worth 10 grand, and I have to pay, if I have to pay an extra,
right? But you're keeping it, so you.
It's crazy to me. That's nuts. Then give me my card back, and they say, okay.
It's like it goes back to, like you said about the tickets and your buddy. When you find out there's money there, it's like Kareem's assistant saying, oh, I think this card will grade a PSA 7, so I'm going to charge you $4,000 for an autograph. Right. It's like. Now everyone is a grader.
I'm paying for you to grade my card. Not what I do with it after is nobody's business, but apparently it is, right? The assumption that I'm going to sell it is prevalent, and I don't like that.
By the way, I think you guys should get into graded toys. I'm
I do have my original He-Mans and my Teenage Ninja Turtles, Generation 1, both.
And you never opened them?
No, that's not true. They're opened and played with.
Here, I'm gonna break out something. Let me break out.
Probably kissed him, Phil. Probably you made him kiss, didn't you?
What's that? Get out of here. What? Did I kiss Raphael? Maybe I kissed April O'Neil.
Okay.
This is the highest graded. Unopened.
Oh my God.
Boom. The highest graded unopened.
How do you know what's in there, Darren? I don't understand.
Look at the people.
Yeah. Oh, believe me, I had that under the Christmas tree in probably 1987, 88, whenever that came out.
Oh my goodness! Do you
Oh,
have the
Duck
glove?
Hunt. There we go.
Remember the glove,
Yeah.
the wizard, the movie The Wizard with
Oh,
Fred
yeah.
Savage? Oh,
Hold on.
so good.
Hold on.
Okay.
Power set. There we go.
And then, I'm just trying to buy unopened. I basically have a 1986 Toy Star in here.
Oh my goodness!
Nice. I remember that too.
Look at Jordan.
Hey, I got two more. I got two more to end it. Hold on.
All
When's
right,
the
all right.
barbecue, Darren?
What?
When's the barbecue? Well,
Yeah,
we'll bring
exactly.
hamburgers. I want to play with all these toys. Oh,
Oh,
man.
yeah. The wrestling ring had that
Yeah,
too.
and then we got the sealed. You gotta have.
Is that an Academy Award in the background? Oh my goodness, he's got Hogan and
Had
Seal.
that.
It's my Emmy award.
It's an
Oh,
Emmy.
that's an Emmy.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
There
Is
you
that
You
go.
want
Emmy?
to guess what I got it for?
What did you get it
I
for?
was on NBC News's coverage of Obama winning the president, and
Darren Rovell.
I was on the air from a bowling alley in Sewickley, Pennsylvania, and
Nice.
Brian Williams threw it to me for all of 48 seconds, and everyone on the show got an Emmy award. So now when I die, it will say Emmy award-winning reporter Darren.
Yeah,
Rovell.
they have
There you
to.
go.
We're
There
going
you
to
go.
say it for our podcast. Emmy Award winning
Yeah.
Darren Rovell.
Well, I'm gonna say it right now. Well, very grateful to Emmy Award winning reporter Darren Ravell
Thank
for
you.
taking some time to talk some hockey. And if you have not yet been to Collect, it's CLLCT.com. Very great spot. We use it for a number. I do cite you anytime
Thank
we
you.
use a Collect story and hobby news because it's only the right thing to do. And I'm really happy that we have a media site, that is specifically geared towards covering our hobby because I think that's important.
You got it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
All right,
Darren.
man.
Nice meeting you, man.
Have a good one.
All right,
See ya.
bye.
Okay, we're back. Well, thanks again to Darren for taking the time to join the show. Really appreciate his perspective. Now, Phil, I don't know if you weren't super familiar as a Canadian.
I had no idea who he is.
Yeah.
No clue. Zero.
I almost called you a Canucksican. The Canadians hate
Yeah,
to be
there you
called
go.
that.
Canucksian?
Canucksican.
Canucksican.
Like we
I
have
don't
Mexico
get
on the bottom and Canada on top. So,
Oh.
I don't know.
Dude, I'm Greek. I'm not even remotely close related to any of those two things.
I can also say at this point too, until your cousins moved away. I'm just going to leave it at that. Okay. So what do you guys think of the conversation with Darren?
It was very interesting. I love his website. I'm very grateful that I was introduced. It's very interesting and in depth. It sounds like they're doing big things in New York. I wish we maybe got into a little bit more of his of what they're how they approach the teams. And I love Darren's passion on how memorabilia is very museum like, and that seems to be how he's trying to treat it. And I hope that type of energy rubs off on hockey teams, and hopefully he approaches some people in the NHL and NHLPA, and we can get some cool things done because he seems to have a good awareness of what we like in the hobby.
Yeah, what we're looking for, and that guy's got energy. If it can get done, he'll get it done.
Yeah,
for sure.
Now, I thought it was really interesting how maybe detached or unaware teams are about their memorabilia.
Yeah,
it kind of makes sense from everything we know, but yeah, boy, today for them to not take that very seriously, it seems funny to me.
Yeah, he made some good points. So I used to be good, decent friends with Greg Carville. He was an assistant coach for the Sens in the mid 2000s. There was no sneaking things. He'd be like, "What do you want?" I'd be like, "Could I have like a tracksuit?" He'd be like, "Sure." He just give me a tracksuit, and then he'd be like, "Do you want a stick?" He got me an Alfredson stick, like not an Alfredson stick. Sorry, Martin Havlat. It wasn't a big deal back then, and back then, 20 years ago, I didn't understand how he didn't get this. Wasn't a big. I still have the same official that they gave to the players duffel bag. You saw it when I brought it to the expo. That's the duffel bag they gave their players to bring whatever. I don't know. Like he just gave me all this stuff. He had no idea it was maybe not worth something, but how important it was, right?
Well, if you were an equipment manager in the 90s, early 2000s,
Yeah.
you're not rich, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, you're
Right.
more than your salary is going out the back door. Absolutely. That was funny when he said
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, so again, very interesting conversation. Thank you to Darren for coming on. Hopefully we'll get to talk to him
Absolutely.
again soon. All right, we're going to roll on to new product releases brought to you by our friends and partners at Mint Ink. You're jonesing for some new hockey cards boxes. Remember, Mint Ink ships anywhere in Canada, even to Phil's house, which is incredible. Just head to mintink.ca and they'll get it all for good prices there. There's also an upcoming trade night at Mint Ink's Vaughan location if you're in the GTA, and Friday,
Sure.
January 17th, the GTA from 6 to 9. It's free. They'll have door prizes every hour, be doing some live rips, and providing grading specials. Space is limited, so go to mintink.ca and register for that. Sounds like a fun time. We'd love to go to one of their trade nights. You should go, Phil.
Yeah, it's a far drive. I'd rather drive to Quebec City. It's prettier. People
Hey,
are
is-
nicer. Women are better.
Is Vaughn the one we were at?
Yeah, and the Davenport's their downtown location.
Okay, yeah.
Well, guys, big news, much awaited news.
Mm-hmm.
8 days ago, Upper Deck finally announced the return of the beloved Stature for 2024-25. Now, up on Steel City's website, they have July 9th as the current predicted release date. That could change, as we all know.
ePack only.
No, I don't think so.
I'm kidding. I just
So it's a 1-pack box with 5 cards in each pack, or box, I guess. 16 boxes in a case. Upper Deck also released their sell sheet that has some design previews that we can look at, as well as their set configuration. So we'll start on the base set. Now, we posted these all to Instagram.
Hey, buddy,
Actually,
you missed out on one part that I've wanted this for you know how long, but you missed out on one part we got to point out that kind of gets me the wrong way.
You talking about Stature?
I don't think, did you say it's a combined set? So half.
yeah, well, we're
23,
going to in
24?
a second.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's all right. No, it's good. No, yeah, it is a combined set. So I want to put a pin in that, Louis, because I want to get your thoughts
Mhm.
on that. But yeah, so, and I wanted to bring it up when we showed the first cards because
Okay.
it's related to the base set. So if you can flip to that now.
Okay.
All right, so the base set has 100 cards in it. And it is a combined set, as Louis has mentioned, between 23-24 and 24-25. Now, the base set is broken up evenly. So 50 cards in the 23-24 set and 50 cards in the 24-25 set. Each year has the breakdown of the 50 cards is 25 veterans, 20 rookies, and 5 legends. So it is that combined release year. So there will be, as people have already pointed out, the Bedard tax likely
Mhm.
on the box, as we're kind of accustomed to.
The
with
ghost,
23
the
cents.
ghost of the Bedard tax.
Yeah, the ghost of the Bedard tax.
Tell me, spirit.
What do you think about the 23 base design?
I think I want to hold the card in my hand.
I know. I'm like, I really want to love you, but
Yeah.
Ugh.
I think it'll look good in hand. I think
Yeah.
it'll look
Yeah.
good in hand. It's got a little bit of 2016-17 O-Pee-Chee plat feel to it, maybe.
But here's what I find interesting about, and we'll see the 24-25 design because it's different too. So I posted these same slides to Instagram
Yeah.
earlier today and have gotten a lot of feedback. A lot of feedback on the design, and it's been almost 100% negative.
Really? Oh, I'm not
No.
negative. I'm mediocre.
Well, a lot of people don't like it. I was trying to figure out why. Some people were even going as far as to say this isn't Stature. The one thing that I figured out after staring at this for a little bit is if you looked at the last couple years of Stature, there wasn't much background in the cards. It was more like the background was like the solid color, then with like the steampunky sort of designs around it. Where this is more close to like if you look at the 2019 Statures that have the rink and other players in the background on them. But yeah, so here's if you're watching on YouTube, the 23-24 design. That now if we move on to that shows the for the Legends, Brian Leach is another. This is the base card. I think that other one was the blue parallel. So one of the 5 Legends for 23-24 is Brian Leach too.
Okay.
Probably not going to get a whole lot of excitement there, but there's another look at the 23-24 design.
Here's what I got. Here's what I got to say about these.
Yeah.
I notice the border first
Okay.
in this design, and I don't want to notice that in a card. I like you said, 1920. That's awesome because it's more of the player on the card. I see that stitching fancy dancy first, and I don't. That's what I think bugs me the most.
Is this 2 out of 1,199?
Yeah, that's the base. Every base is numbered, I guess.
To 1,200.
And then there's parallels.
So every card's numbered, eh?
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. What other sets like that? Isn't there we don't like it, but I don't know. Doesn't matter.
Okay. Well, let's move on. The next design we're going to look at is there. So with the base, then there's parallels. There's auto parallels. There's auto plus just memorabilia parallels, and then there's auto plus mem. So here's the auto only parallel. Now this is the 2024-25 design. And we're looking at the orange parallel of the Matt Vymichkov rookie auto. So the auto only parallels, the base card is 1 in 3 packs. Then you have green out of 199, red out of 99, orange out of 50, blue out of 25, purple out of 5, and black out of 3.
I'm so close to wanting to go ham on this set. There's just I think I'm just gonna poach the cards I like.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so close, right? I think I'll stick with Parker's Champions, finishing sets and sets within sets. There's just too much here. There's just a little bit too much.
Well, the big draw for Stature is the patch autos. So let's go to those next.
Poach those cards, yeah.
Yeah. And here's a base patch auto. So the base is out of 49. Then there's a green parallel out of 35, red out of 25, orange out of 15, blue out of 10. Then there's a gold premium memorabilia out of 5, purple premium memorabilia out of 3, and then black premium 101. We're looking at the base Luke Hughes for this would be the 23-24 design. So thoughts on the patch autos?
The greatest Stature card I have ever seen is the Mike Modano Louis bot from Steve Angel. I would not put this visual representation on par with that card. I do need to have this card in my hand though.
There are some others to look at too.
Okay.
And one really interesting one too. So here's a green out of 35. It's a Matthew Nyes rookie. That again, this is 23-24.
Yeah.
That's a rookie patch auto, Matthew Nyes.
So if that was a blue, so why wouldn't Upper Deck put a blue, like from a marketing point of view, wouldn't you show the blue out of 10 patch card?
I don't know.
I don't know. It kind of matters if it was Mike. All right.
I just don't like the diamond stitching. I'm sorry, I can't.
Oh yeah, that's what you don't like, Louis. Maybe it'll be faint though when you hold it. You know, it'll be kind of like
in the background.
It won't be so prevalent.
So the next one's a really interesting card.
That's nice.
Oh no, not the next one after this. So we have red out of 25, Shimmy Shakes, Lane Hudson, little color match there.
What do you guys think about this card?
So yeah, and this is the 24-25 design.
It's beautiful.
Yeah,
I think that's a beautiful card. Yeah, and notice
I'm gonna admit, my initial reaction was I kind of like these, and then everyone in the world hated them. So now I've spent the last 4 hours thinking what's wrong with me. But
well, I can give you a list. I've been working on it. But in regards to this topic,
does the list start with I'm too good looking and it's almost a bad thing?
Well, Jenny and I have been talking and we didn't know how to approach it with you. So,
but I am too good looking. Thank you. Oh my gosh.
He's too good looking, Phil. I can't handle it.
Everyone expects so much out of me because I'm that good looking, right, Phil?
Look at the patch on this card. Look, stop it. Look at the patch. It's the top of the seat. Man, I want this card. This card's amazing.
Okay. Now we get to then there's a blue out of 10. This one though is very interesting. So this is a gold premium out of 5. It's the 24-25 design. and it's Bobby Orr. What could be very special about this card is, remember, there are no patch autos of Bobby Orr because he will not allow Upper Deck to cut up his jerseys.
Uh-huh.
But there's a stick piece here. And so auto or memorabilia plus auto combos for Bobby Orr are exceedingly rare.
There's a beautiful. Look at the black and the gold and the black and the gold.
Now somebody made kind of a snarky comment, but if you take away the snark, they said, so you finally have a mem auto of Bobby Orr and it's not in the cup ? And it's in Stature.
They're upset about something else. They're upset about something else in life. This is a beautiful hockey card, and it's a subjective comment from me, and it's okay if someone else doesn't like the card. I think they should just say, I just don't like the card. Why do you got to compare it to the cup? Right? It's not the cup. We get it. I get it. Yeah.
Now, what do you think about this card, Louis? You still struggling with it? No.
You don't like it, eh?
No.
And then the last one on the
so here's one thing I don't like. I'm as we're talking, I'm looking at the older ones. Well, that faded out area they made for where my mouse is there.
Yeah.
For the auto, it's too much.
I agree. I think it would look nice
to be that much. Yeah. Some of these other ones are maybe fine where he signed, but you can bring the color back into his legs down underneath that stick piece.
Oh, I got you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's and then it kind of fades at the bottom. The card as well.
Yeah, I don't like how it's fading. So like I agree with you. I wish the fade was a lot less and the auto could be a little closer. I think we should stop if we're just purely comparing to the old ones. That's a different conversation than just treating these on their own, isolating them.
Yeah.
Because if you're looking at the older ones, yeah, Louis, stop doing that. You're never going to like these. You know?
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, last one in the preview is a purple out of 3, another premium memorabilia. It's a Bedard. This is 2024-25, so it looks like another stick to me or some piece of equipment. Here's what I'm predicting, though. How much confusion is there going to be in this set between what's a Bedard rookie and what isn't?
Well, we're going to have to read. If it says rookie in 23-24.
Sure.
Yeah, but listen, you can't take that away from a human being. If you can't figure that part out, you have no hope. You have no hope.
Oh, yeah, because you're saying this is a 24-25. This is a rookie.
Not a rookie.
Not a rookie.
Yeah.
It's not ideal. I agree. Maybe that's what you're trying to say. It's not an ideal.
I think more like the new collector perspective, right? If you're there's a lot coming at you, and
if you're 7 years old, I'll give you that. Yeah. If you're 12, they're sharper than we think. You know what I mean? I hope.
What if I'm 7.5?
Yeah, well, where are you getting the money to? You're selling a lot of lollipops at the back door at recess, aren't you?
I feel like, how do I explain this? It's so tacky, though. I feel like the 8-year-old at Christmas that wanted the blue bike, but all I got was the orange one. You know what I mean? It's not a big deal. It's not life-changing, but just not what I wanted or what I expected.
And the other thing that we've mentioned already, but I think is worth repeating, these are digital representations. In hand, it could be worse, and it could be a whole lot better.
Stature look at the pictures of Stature normally. As soon as I see one in hand, I'm like, whoa, it doesn't do it any justice online. Yeah.
And then, so I just noticed on this too, Aaron, I'm not trying to beat a dead horse, but there's no auto on this card.
Wow, nothing gets past Louis.
Why are we fading the card?
I thought you didn't want it to be faded. I
don't.
It's not.
Yeah.
Look at the bottom. There's no auto or any. Why are we fading away? Leave that just a regular picture.
I like that fade.
Okay. I don't mind it on the borders. I don't like it in the middle. Leave that alone.
Gotcha.
He wants to see his breezers.
Yeah.
All right. So Louis,
I'm done crying.
And you're the big star. And I say when I say I like this too, I didn't have much skin in the game. I like Stature, but I'm not as big of a fan as a lot of people I know in our Discord, a lot of our hobby buddies, and certainly you. And so it doesn't hurt that, if there's critiques that I have with it. But yeah, we'll see.
Good
We'll see
points,
how it
Josh.
plays out.
So I'm not a Stature. I like Stature, but I'm not like you, Louis. So that's a good point. Maybe this hits you a little more in the feels than it would be for me. So noted. How does Troy? Did you talk to Troy Bear? He's a big Stature
No,
guy.
not today.
No, okay.
I have not yet. No.
Maybe it'll grow on me. It's just like when a new model of pickup comes out. It's kind of like at first, and then
that's
it's
true.
not so bad. Why'd they have to change the old one? Whatever.
When the new GMs came out, I was like, oh, they look like alien spaceships. Now I'm like, they're pretty nice.
Same difference, but
same difference.
I want to see it in hand. Here's the only killer though, is like we talked about in the beginning, because it's combined with 23-24. I'm not buying a box of this now. It's just going to be chase after what I want again. I wanted to have a little fun. I wanted to have a little fun with this and buy a box or two or whatever and just see what happened. But I think I'm just going to be chasing.
It could depend too on how Bedard finishes off the season. I think that's going to be a big factor. If he goes in the tank, these might not be all that expensive by July.
I don't know about you know what Stature patch autos go for, even on a guy
like a Medano. 350 about. Ooh. Papa was a Rolling Stone.
Keep moving.
But I'm glad to see it.
It's been about a week since Black Diamond came out. And as we do with every release, I want to take a very quick peek at the top 5 very, very early sales to see, what singles, players, card types, the hobby's chasing at the moment from Black Diamond. As with all sales made via eBay, remember that we verify each one as at least have been paid for in TerraPeak. You ready? Ready to see the top 5?
Oh, yeah. I can't wait.
I know you can't. You're so excited. Look at you, Phil. You're glowing.
I want it to be. Maybe I'm pregnant. I want it to be a non-auto.
I think there's a few of those. Ooh. So the first one is a non-auto. It's a Joey Decord Extra Exquisite Silver Spectrum patch 101. Sold for $249.99 US dollars on eBay on January 4th. Now, this card is actually a lot of damage, and I want to point that out mainly to give the seller a lot of props on eBay. He added many photos that specifically pointed out the dings and dents in the card.
Guy. Good for him.
So very much on the up and up. The patch is beautiful. Kraken has some nice patches. I mean, if you're a Kraken fan, and a goalie collector or whatever, I could definitely get behind this card. It is a game used patch too, and we have to look at the back and how specific Upper Deck connected the memorabilia to the player. So this is sort of like a little bit of a tangent to our Panini patch conversation from last episode. And bravo to Upper Deck. Very, very happy with the back of this card. So I'm going to read it for people who are listening. It says, you have received a trading card with Joey Decord game used hockey memorabilia.
Fantastic.
Amen. That has been certified to the Upper Deck company as having been used in an official NHL game. Congratulations. Thank you, Upper Deck. Good job. That clears up any sort of confusion around that. So that's number 5 at roughly $250.
I miss you, Joey.
The next 2 are basically 150 as well, or 250 as well. So it's like a 3-way tie for the 5, 4, and 3 spots. At number 4, we have a Will Smith rookie team jumbo logos out of 99. Sold for $250 US on January 6th via eBay.
Uncle Phil should have taught him how to do a better signature.
I actually like his
I
auto.
don't mind it.
It's okay. At least there's a W in there.
For this generation of players, for these kids, do you think we're going to get much better than that?
I figured out why these kids suck donkey at autos. You ready? Hot take.
They don't have to write, Deborah.
They don't have to do so.
They get iPads like the minute they go to school here.
Well, yeah, they don't teach cursive in public school anymore.
No, because they don't have to sign checks or anything.
I asked Cole the other day. I was like, "You never got taught cursive?" He's like, "No, I can't. I didn't even know my son didn't know cursive. What the heck's going on?"
No, you give them somebody. I could write something in cursive and hand it to my kids, and they'd be like,
"They don't know.
Is it Chinese? What is this? You know?"
I don't. No clue. The R's are hard. I find the R's are you like go up and then no, not too far down. Little circle around. It's like, get out of here.
Number 3 is a Guy Lafleur Band of Color out of 24 raw. That sold for $250 US via eBay on January 6th. Thoughts on cards aside. Now here, if you're the seller, I don't want to be rude, but this is a terrible photo. I'm sad that somebody bought your card because of it. Like, you should be in the hobby penalty box for listing a card for sale with that photo.
As I was putting this together, I almost texted you back, and I'm like, "Can you find a different card?"
No, this is it. Yeah.
I just don't know what's going on with this.
There's a lot going on with that card. I think it hypnotizes you if you stare at it long enough.
Well, like I said before, it's got that Greek key, the infinity key around these jewels, but I get an indigenous vibe. But then I kind of want to, eat some mushrooms and go on a space trip. Like, I don't know what to do here.
Well, it's also a Ouija board. Did you know that?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Where?
I'm just kidding.
It kind of looks like one. Yeah.
No, it does not.
Little.
Oh.
Number 2.
Oh, God.
Shimmy Shakes, Lane Hudson, Diamond Plate Rookie Autos out of 49. Sold for $281 US on eBay on January 6th. I like the design of this card.
Yeah, it's doubloony.
Yeah. Kind of like a...
It's got the doubloon
maybe what
border.
Stature should have been versus doubloon, right?
Ooh, yeah, maybe, eh?
Now, would this speak to you more if this was more the Stature design vibe, Louis?
Oh, yeah. I like it a lot better than what I've seen so far. Not in hand, of course.
Mm-hmm. And number 1, an exquisite collection, Macklin Celebrini rookie patch out of 25. Nice. So for $400 US on January 7th by eBay. Nice little Sharks 3-color patch there.
I take back my nice. It's nice, the nicest card on here, but I want exquisite out of black diamond, so I take my nice back.
I'm just not a huge fan of the NHL draft photo, like with the shirt and tie under the hockey jersey.
I love the cup top drafts though, and a lot of people don't. I love that card. I think that's a perfect draft card to have for the kids.
Mm-hmm. It is weird, like when you have to like recalibrate, like and price adjust from the Bedard Apalooza releases.
Yeah,
right. Like some of these Bedard cards would have been 5,000-6,000 8 months ago. Just
buyer
crazy.
beware. It's a chunky patch on Celebrini. It's nice.
Yeah, chunky patch.
Chunky patch.
Okay, a last bit of news. Kind of a big new product release day. We got another like 15-hour notice of an ePack release, and it's a big one. 2022-23 Ultimate Collection dropped on ePack yesterday morning. Now, you guys remember we had Phil's roommate, I think, in his new apartment. ePack expert Ben Berry on a month ago said that this is the set that ePackers go nuts for and all out. Yeah. We got to have him on in a couple weeks and see kind of, because I went to they have its own like quest challenge page.
It's cool,
and like the leaderboard was already all lit up.
Oh yeah, today's Christmas. Yeah, it's Christmas for those boys today. Good for them.
The ePack price is $185 a box and $14.50 a case, and that's US dollars. Now, if you compare that, like let's just say, I just want to open a box of Ultimate. If you go to like Mint Inc. right now, and they even deliver to Phil's house, it's about 175 Canadian, and when you do the currency conversion, it's about 122 US equivalent. So it's about a $60 ePack tax. But I don't think the people that compete in the quest care. It's
click. You playing poker in there? No, I'm buying hockey cards.
Yeah. All right. Got to move on. Fanatics Collect is a Gongshow partner and sponsor. Thankful for their support of our show. The January premiere Fanatics Collect auction begins tonight. So you got to head to fanaticscollect.com. Check out the hockey grails that are up for grabs in this month's premiere. Jeremy Lee and I were back at it after a holiday hiatus this upcoming Sunday night on his YouTube channel, Sports Cards Live, to cover all the key hockey cards ending in the current Fanatics Collect weekly auction. The show starts promptly at 8:30 Central. We hope to see you there active in the chat. As a little preview for the current weekly auction, me and the boys here, Baba, Louie, and Phil, each picked out a favorite vintage modern card to highlight, and we'll start with vintage, and this is my favorite. I picked a 1992 Ultra Mario Lemieux card number 165 PSA 10. Very much a nostalgia pick for me. This
Mhm.
is a base card from the Junk Wax era. I get it. But 100%, this was in my binder as a kid and would have been a jewel, crown jewel in that because I had no clue.
You get
But
buybacks. You get autos of these ones, eh?
yeah, that'd be cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great picture. Mario looks like he just, maybe fed Yager a pass. This would have probably been taken maybe during the Stanley Cup Finals as he was scoring 1 million goals against the North Stars. But so that makes me a little sad in that regard. The PSA 10 pop count's only 57, Phil.
Ooh.
There's 6,000 Bedard Young Gun PSA 10s, but only 57 92 Ultra Mario Lemieux.
Base cards.
Yeah, that being said, only 87 copies have been graded, so it's a 66% gem rate there. But if you're not buying this card, though, as an investment, at least I hope you're not. You're buying it because it's awesome, and it brings you right back to that time in your life when things were much simpler.
Yeah, I love the visual basic buttons almost, like where Mario Lemieux in Pittsburgh, but it's very early Microsoft,
Yeah.
Every time I look at this card, though, I still try to figure out when it was taken. Is this like pre-skate warm-ups or what? Because there's no way he'd have that much shadowing.
Yeah, I was going to make that point too.
Oh,
but
sorry.
the ice looks pretty played on, right?
Yeah, but
maybe end of warm-up, something like that. Okay, last sale of a 92 Ultra Mario Lemieux PSA 10, $33. Holy moly! This past November, all-time high was 90 from January of 22. You got a current bid, Louis?
Yeah, 11 USD.
All right, Louis, your pick.
My pick is another base Mario Lemieux, but I chose a 1996-97 Donruss Elite Lemieux PSA 10. Now, I found it funny that this was in there. I love these cards. We were asked in our Gong Show mailbag on Monday, if the NHL let you break the rules and let you make one license set in 25, what would it be? And this is one of them that I picked. It's nothing fancy, but it's a beautiful card. It's really simple, good design. Like Josh said with his Fleer Ultra, it's just a flashback of going through some of my older stuff and seeing this card in there, and it'll always have that little special spot in your heart. There's 22 graded copies of this card, with 15 of them being PSA 10s. The last sale was July 1st, 2023 for $70 US. The highest this card has sold for was $110 in April of 2022. Now, the current bid for this butte sits at $9 US.
Now, Phil, did you pick a Mario Lemieux base card from
really?
I did not, but I picked someone a little bit better than him.
Oh.
Do you want me to tell you? Oh,
sure.
yeah. So I picked a 1993 Topps Stadium Club Wayne Gretzky SGC 9.5. So it's an odd choice, but hear me out, boys. We all make fun of Topps Stadium. Not all of us, but it's especially Josh. He makes fun of Topps Stadium a lot, I find. I like Topps Stadium. I love Topps Stadium.
I don't think I've ever made fun of Topps Stadium.
You make fun of Topps Stadium a lot. You make fun of Topps
projecting. Phil, are you wrong?
Yeah.
In case you forgot, Josh, Stadium Club's first set was introduced in 1991 as a high-end response to Upper Deck and their perceived to be superior products. I think they were superior. I believe them to be superior, if you want my opinion. We only got 5 years of this set in hockey. We're going to stick to hockey. Lots of stuff's going on in baseball. I think the first 3 years of this set are very crisp and very unique. Not to each other, but unique from other sets. They're actually quite similar all 3 years. Neither did I find the other designs in 93, 94, 94, 95 didn't really work. They tried a little too hard. The junk wax era mania. So basically print and pump and dump away or pump away. It's the first hockey set of maybe all sports. I'm not really sure, but to feature, it's called full bleed photography.
I'm
now,
sorry.
The Google,
what?
I'll tell you, little girl. The Google machine says full bleed photography is a printing technique that extends an image or design to the very edge of a document or photograph without any margins or borders. This technique is often used for marketing materials like posters or brochures. So Topps really did try something different here. I mean, I remember how the pack smells right away. These cards were all bricked. I had a couple of boxes. I started opening them. They're unpeelable. And if you do peel them, they just rip right apart. So not like O-Pee-Chee Chrome. So if you do see a box of this, I highly suggest you do not buy it. There's no point unless it was stored like in a humidor. So back to this card specifically. I really like this card because I remember it very well. And I like Wayne's little white turtleneck here. And I don't know, he just looks like a king, you know? Look at his face. He's like, look at his confidence.
It's like a Kodak moment.
It's a Kodak moment. Thank you, Louis. He's like, what do you want from me? 2,000 points? I did that last year. Come on. You know, like,
Yeah.
So current bid's $8. Yeah.
Go get her. Get her done.
Go get her.
All right,
Gotcha.
modern. There's a lot of really good modern cards this week in the weekly, and one that jumped out of the computer screen right at me was this 2013 Fleer Showcase Ultra Platinum Medallion Wayne Gretzky out of 25.
Another Fleer, eh?
So awesome.
Yeah, imagine that. It's a CSG 9.5 Mint Plus. Awesome card. Just love it. I'm a Fleer guy, Phil, right?
Fleer is so top tier. Josh would love a career in Fleer.
And a beer.
I'm going to start them back up.
The card features a great image of young Wayne, like the picture. I think these look way better in hand too. Yeah. So scans don't do it justice. It does look like a sandstorm sort of swallowing up, right? Like he's gonna be enveloped in like the desert or something like that. With the scan, I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
Now the Ultra Platinum Medallion set was pretty big in 2013 Fleer Showcase. There's 65 players on the checklist. All are serial numbered out of 25. The set also includes some rookies like Nathan McKinnon. Never heard of him. Philippe Forsberg.
Philip Forsberg?
Yes.
Who's Philip Forsberg?
The last sale of any copy of a 2013 Fleer Showcase Wayne Gretzky Ultra Platinum Medallion out of 25 was $504 for a BGS 9.5 copy in June of 2023. Now, check this out, boys. A PSA 10 sold for $5,040 in July of 2022. And as you can imagine, that is the top sale to date.
Yeah, I can't imagine that. Absolutely. I think that'll hold the record.
I love the photo of Wayne in this.
Was that Carter? Mm-hmm. Carter's a huge. You met your Fleer wife with Carter.
Yeah.
He loves Fleer so much. I'm happy for you too.
Louis picked another wanger.
Do you want to tell him the current bid on this card or not?
Oh yeah, what is it? $26.
Yes.
Go get her.
Yeah, I did. You and I were kind of following suit here, but that's because you picked the two cards I was going to pick, so I had to.
Josh is a card picks thief. He's a thief.
Yeah, I just, am responsible and I get it done.
Well, I picked a 1999 2000 Upper Deck holographics Wayne Gretzky, the number GG1 copy in a CGC 8.
Mm-hmm. These are awesome. I have the awesome parallel. That's what it's really called.
Yep, I know. We'll get there in a minute.
Careful, it might be trademarked. Billy might get mad at you. How did you not know that, Josh?
So for me, these holographics have to be a super close runner-up to any of the Fleer Ultra cards for me. I could have a top loader binder gang full of holographics and Fleer Ultra stuff. It'd be awesome. Another great shot of Gretzky in his Oilers garb. If you want to chase this Gretzky, believe it or not, there are 15 other holographics cards with him representing the Blues, Rangers, and the Kings, and another 15 as awesome parallel. Is that what you call them?
Yeah, it's AUs for gold.
Yep,
I think he's an AU, the atomic measurement of gold, right?
Yeah, and then some awesome
that measurement.
If you wanted all of them. The regular holographics were inserted, 1 in 3 packs. And the awesomes were 1 in 105 packs. So CGC has a pop count of 3 cards, 3 of this card, all receiving an 8 grade. I wasn't not able to find any CGC graded copies of this card higher or anywhere on Card Ladder to give any idea of what an 8 might sell for. But if you want a raw copy, take your chances. It'll set you back a whopping $3.
What's the atomic number for silver letter for representation for silver?
F you.
I'm not a
Oh,
periodic table.
AD, forget it. I thought I was among peers here. Never mind.
Currently, you can snag this PSA 8 for $5.
Ooh, they use this picture a lot. I feel like this picture was used in another card for 1999. I feel like it's a common Wayne picture.
Not the same picture in yours, Josh, is it?
No, just in general. I think
Yeah.
it just seems like a shot. I think they use that in
I'm sure.
I forget.
Holographics lives on to this day. It's an extended. I really wish they'd make a numbered parallel.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Because I do. I'm a holographics fan, even though they're not worth the time.
No.
Bill,
You got me
last
hooked
pick is
onto
your
them.
pick.
Yes. So I picked a 2005 Upper Deck Young Guns Sidney Crosby PSA 8. Oh, baby. This is the Crosby rookie I've been looking for. My finger usually isn't on the pulse of these types of cards. You know, when certain cards have their own ecosystems, like the Matthews, BGS Young Guns, the king of the subsets, Wayne Gretzky, rookie PSA cards. And so I think Crosby's got the same thing going on here. So I don't really pay attention to these. As we say in Thai boxing, there are levels to this game. So I kind of stay away from the PSA expensive Young Guns game. But this one I will enter. So this is a PSA 8. And if you go to Fanatics Collect, they have in-depth scans where you can really analyze any card before the purchases. And I did that with this card. It's a beautiful 8. I'm not buying the PSA 8. I'm buying this card. So is this card perfect? No. Is this card close to perfect for me, Phil? Yes, it is. And I'm going to take full advantage of the grading landscape that we're in right now. And I'm scouring my buys and purchases for SGC 9s and PSA 8s. So I don't know if you guys watched the Hockey Card Haven's latest podcast, but Mike's little counterpart there, Anthony, he submitted a good amount of cards and he got slaughtered with a bunch of 7s. And he knows his stuff. He knows what he's doing. He wouldn't have sent any of these cards if he thought they wouldn't get 10s or 9s at the bare minimum. Watch the video. They had a great podcast there. So Tony, I feel you, brother. He checked all his cards and it just didn't work out well for him. So I do feel like my finger is on the pulse of the hobby market and the grading of it. And I'm confident right now, PSA and others have been giving much more difficult grades considering the volume of cards they're getting. I have no facts to base that up other than they're having record months of submissions. So that would be a fact, I guess. Don't take my word for it, but there's lots of heavy hitters in the hobby that know the grading cycle, and lenient grading is not upon us right now. It's not. We're in the quarter part of the century, and we're not in that time. So I checked.
Can I make a really quick counter to that though?
Sure. Yeah.
And I'm not saying anything you're saying is wrong, but remember we looked at on our last show the last year's grading recap.
Yeah.
And nobody gave out more gem mints than PSA.
Okay.
As a percentage. 40%.
But what's okay as a percentage? Then I don't know. I somehow everything in my personal life and in my day-to-days, I'm not seeing favorable grades in any way, shape, or form. Yeah, so definitely don't take my word for it. Yes, I checked the Wayback Machine of previous sales, and Crosby PSA 8s seem to be around the $1,000 Canadian bucks, goose dollars, and around 700 America bucks. That's dropping fast, by the way, if you follow things in real life. So this Crosby is already at 550 USD. So clearly I'm not the only person who looked at how good this card is for an 8. And I guess that's good. I want the hobby. I mean, it's not good for this card and me in this situation, but I want the hobby to be educated and good. Keep buying cards, not grades. And that's how we do it. So I have to admit, I enjoyed going through all the grades and pricing and even checking out the raw cards on eBay for Crosby. So don't buy those unless you want a pretty damaged one or just one that's not going to be in the best of shape. They're on eBay for a reason, right? McDavid's, Crosby's, Ovechkin, Young Guns, Makar's, they're on there for a reason.
Why do you think this one's an 8?
Maybe the grader that day forgot his lunch at home and he was upset.
So you think that, there's not any visible flaws?
I looked at it in depth, and if it's surface or maybe, you know what, I didn't look at the back as much. So I did notice it's a little bit off center compared to most of his. That doesn't bother me for the style of this card. I don't mind a little more gray or silver, whatever that is on the left side. I want better corners. That's what I like.
Okay.
I like good corners.
Well, you can bid on any of these 6 cards or all the other ones available this week at fanaticscollect.com. All right, personal pickup. So, Phil, you bailed on the segment now for your show. Is that the...
Yeah. Well, I don't know. You were the one who put me on Fridays. What do you want me to do? I don't know how to stretch it thin. What should I do? Do you want me to pretend? Oh my God, look what I got. I got a rookie gem. Ivan Fedotov.
Wow.
Oh, that's crazy, eh?
That's a card you've been just lusting. That's your word.
It's been my coaster, actually, for my coffees.
I actually got 3 cards that I'm pretty excited about, and this is where Phil
hold them up.
Feel bad about them. So I picked up a 2013-14 Panini Select Pavel Datsyuk Silver Prism Raw.
That's the common one, eh? The Prism Silver?
Well, the base card is the common one. The silver is the parallel. Okay. Then I got another Datsyuk, the first year of Platinum, 2014-15, red Prism out of 135. Kind of a cool color match there with Datsyuk. And I got to show this one first. So I got another 2012 Fleer Retro Brett Hull or Playmakers Theater. I just got this one in the mail. Oh, shoot. It's not the Joe Sakic.
Joey Sakic. Nice card, Josh.
These cards are awesome in hand. They're numbered out of 100.
Yeah, it does not look anything like this on the screen. That's the same card?
Yeah.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot more rainbow. Trying to get the glare out of it. Sorry.
That's good. Beautiful. Look at that Quebec jersey, eh? Wow.
Yeah, these are awesome. I would love to collect more of these, but they get spendy. And they're all out of 100. So that's your new PC guy, Brett Hall.
Well, I said I might do that. Did I say I was for sure?
I think you were pretty hard up.
Yeah.
After Brett Hall, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm definitely going to at some point in my life. I just don't. I can't go hard right now. I got too many things I gotta finish. Yeah.
All right, we did it.
That's it. We're at the
3-hour show.
Yeah, is it over? It's not 3 hours. It's 2 hours and 7. Oh, we had Darren.
Yeah.
Yeah, he talks a lot too. So do we.
I don't think we can. That's not an aspersion we can cast on anyone, Phil. We're chatty.
I don't know what aspersion means. Cool.
An aspersion. You know what means?
Aspiration?
Yes, aspiring. You're.
I used to have aspirations. Then life kicked my butt.
If you like the episode, please leave a rating and review on Apple, Spotify, whatever podcast app you listen to us on. If you love the show, if you love Louis, who doesn't love Louis? Come on.
I love Louis.
You want to support us, want to chat with us every day on the Hockey Cards Gongshow Discord server, please consider a $5 a month donation. Join out a $2.99 support level tier on Patreon. Link is in the show description. Both YouTube podcast apps, Instagram, TikTok profiles, on our website, hockeycardsgongshow.com. There's a become a patron link, and on the Patreon website directly, patreon.com. And then just search for Hockey Cards Gongshow. We're on social media. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. And boys, the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast is a production of Dogbox Ventures LLC. Louis,
Hockey Cards on fire, no holding us back. Josh looking sharp, the face of the scene. Feeling pork chop pants, rocking it clean. Baba Louie in the booth, he's the man with the plan. The best producer in all the land. Gong Show Nation, let's hit the flow. It's the Hockey Cards Gong Show. Let's go, let's go.